Congratulations in order for some young men who were drafted most recently from Texas baseball to the big show. We'll talk about that coming up too. Texas basketball gets another commitment. Man, Rodney Terry is working hard behind the scenes. And of course,
he can't recruit.
We'll get into some Texas football since we're behind the burnt orange curtain. Also, the Northwestern scandal continues. The hazing scandal continues to make headlines. So we'll get into it and talk about it. Bob Huggins apparently is demanding reinstatement. I don't know how that works, but we'll discuss it. And Wemby's debut in the Summer League. Oh, it was brief, but it was beautiful. We'll get into it in the top of the 4 o'clock and talk some NBA and also Pop. Oh, Pop's going to be around for a long time. So we'll talk about that coming up as well in the 4 o'clock. We'll get into some NBA news, notes, and nuggets. Before we do, let's introduce you to the rest of the crew. He was a second-round pick for the Montreal Expos, but a first-round pick for the Austin Radio Network. He originally committed to the University of Texas, but decided to forego the 40 acres and chase his dream in the cheese. Pimping ain't easy, but for him it's a breeze. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Hardball Hard. What's going on, brother?
Man, what it do? Congratulations to some of those draft picks. I remember that day so well. I talked to a bunch of former players and, going back and reminiscing about their draft pick days. But let's talk about our man Wemby. I know a lot of people was kind of talking trash after game one, going to the G League. I kept putting it out there, but my man tried to revamp his career because, our job is to hate as much as we possibly can. Hate. But let me talk about my man that sits across from me every single day. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now college football Hall of Fame Longhorn Derek Johnson said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But of course, he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rod Babels.
I appreciate that intro, as always. Let's not waste any time introducing the real MVP, one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit, period. We don't know what he's paid. We're pretty damn sure this man is underpaid. It's Patrick Davis, y'all. What's up, Patrick?
That was a good weekend to be a Spurs fan.
It was a great weekend to be a Spurs fan, no doubt. Exactly. We'll get into Pop signing that 5-year deal, the most lucrative deal for any NBA head coach in the league's history. Also, we'll talk about the NBA in-season tournament, which there have been some details released about the NBA in-season tournament. And it's strange that one of the biggest NBA fans I know not excited about it. Patrick's not excited about the in-season tournament.
Neither is my son.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's. You know what? We'll get into it.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it a little bit later on top of the 4 o'clock because I want to discuss that. And also, we'll discuss Wemby's debut and how he looked. I didn't think the first game was that bad, but apparently that gave a lot of haters some ammunition to hate on Wemby, which was ridiculous. I thought the first game, did he have like 5? How many blocks did he have in the first game?
He did have 5 blocks.
5 blocks in the first game. I'm like,
yeah.
People want to hate. People want to hate.
Hate.
Anyway, we'll get into that too because of Wemby's debut. Aside from the Britney Spears situation that started off a little bit salacious with him in Vegas, I thought it ended on a wonderful note. So we'll get to that, talking about that in the top of the 4 o'clock. So Spurs fans, you want to stick around for that. Harge, once again, he is a man of many talents, but he also knows every damn body because he's got a lot of jobs. That's one of the reasons he knows every damn body.
Right.
And his most notable job was that he played in the big leagues, played Major League Baseball. Was that on this day we were drafted in the second round? What was
second round.
What's the overall
48th.
pick? 48th overall pick.
48th
you got to
overall.
remember that overall pick, man.
Yeah, you got to put that out there.
Put that out
They're
there.
like, oh, he was second round. Yeah, 48th overall. I was in the top 50 players in the nation that year.
Top 50, no doubt. But you've once again opened up your contact list.
That's right.
To hook us up with a very special guest for Hard Knock Life, man. This is I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. One of my former teammates who is now the hitting coach for the Los Angeles Angels, Marcus Timms, is going to be on the show with us, and he's been in the big leagues for a long time. He was a hitting instructor for the Miami Marlins.
Hey, look at that.
They're all out there. They up in the place, and then he was the hitting coach for the New York Yankees. He's been around the game for a long time, and I reached out to him. I said, man, I've got to talk to you about Shohei and Mike Trout. And obviously a lot of things that are going on in the major leagues. We're going to ask him about how he feels as a hitting coach about the game and how it's changed, the speed-up rules and stuff like that. So I'm excited to have him on. So he's ready. He's good to go. This is his off time. because it's the
Yeah.
All-Star break.
That's true.
So he was like, anytime you need me, bro, I'm
Wow.
ready. I was like, all right, I got you.
Yeah, that's great. So we're going to make plenty of time for that coming up for Harsh Knock Live. So really excited about Harsh hooking us up with another very special guest.
And I got another one for us tomorrow.
You got another one?
Yeah,
Wham!
another one.
And another one.
And we mentioned it last week, but it's official now. We got Tayshawn Thomas from the 254. He will be on the show with us tomorrow talking about Wemby because he was on Wemby's team this season overseas.
Like that.
So we got that.
Well done.
We got that.
And Harsh getting us inside info,
No
insider knowledge
I love it.
on the biggest sports stories right now currently going on in sports. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thing.
Let's get it going.
I'm just saying. I don't know if you're going to find anything like that anywhere else. So we appreciate Harsh, man. You are the man. All right, you can reach out to the man. You can do it via Twitter at HardballHarsh in the Twitterverse. My man Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis. I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. Also, use the Specs text line 512-337-3776. All right, first, before we talk Texas baseball, there's a lot of Texas sports nuggets to get into. There are congratulations in order for a couple of lifetime Longhorns who have been drafted to the big show. Mm-hmm. Dylan Campbell
Yes, sir.
was drafted to the Dodgers with the number 136th pick overall. How about that in the 5th round of the Major League Baseball draft?
Fourth
His-
round.
Oh, 4th round. I
round,
apologize.
yeah.
See, I'm jipping the man already. I
Yeah,
apologize.
get that man his rounds.
Get him in his rounds in the 4th round, and he is apparently. I got this from Aaron Little. Shout out to him of Orange Bloods.
Orange
he says
Bloods.
the slot value of that pick is $473,000.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the decision, Harsh?
I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm hoping that he comes back, but
You're hoping
it's
that he
really
comes back?
yeah,
Okay.
because when you start talking to people in the draft circles, they're still trying to figure out what position is he going to play. Because he's an unbelievable outfielder. But when you look at the corner outfielders, you see these big, burly, home run, power hitting people out there. Some people look at him and say that he could possibly be a second baseman. I think he can be because he was a former infielder before he got to the University of Texas. But he can go get the baseball. He plays good defense. I wouldn't mind trying him in center field
Interesting.
because he's definitely a guy that understands the role of an outfielder. And I think he would be great in center field position.
Okay, so how long does he have to?
This
kind
is
of
right
mull
before
over the decision?
right before school starts.
Okay, so he's got a while.
He's got a while.
He's got a while.
Yeah.
Okay. How much participation does he have with the team, or contact does he have with the team during that process where he's thinking about it?
With the Dodgers?
Yes.
The entire time.
Okay.
It's the entire time.
Okay.
Until you step back on campus to be a student, you can go back and forth. Y'all can talk every single day if you want to.
All right.
So they still own your rights right now.
Okay. All right.
They own his rights right now.
And go work out with them too.
No, you can't go work out.
Okay.
If
Just
you
contacts.
once you get there, you there.
Once you're
Yeah,
in, you're
yeah,
in.
you
But
in.
until then,
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. So
When I got drafted that year in '90, I played like 8 or 9 more summer league games. I played like 10 games, and we were still negotiating even after I got drafted, and I was still playing in these other games
because that was a separate entity.
because it was totally different.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were just
yeah.
trying to make sure I didn't get on campus,
exactly.
and Texas was trying to get me on campus.
Because once you're on campus,
You're
you're good.
in.
You're in.
Yeah.
Once you're in the system
Yep.
for that year, you're in.
You're already
You're a
in.
collegiate player.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's I wonder what the NIL deal would have to be to try to entice him to return to the 40 acres.
Yeah.
Lucas Gordon also drafted with the 179th slot to the Chicago White Sox. That slot value, according to Aaron Little, is at $317,400.
I love it.
Okay.
Man, like I say, even at these numbers now, boy, these boys getting that bread.
That's good money. That's good. Let's
get this bread.
That's good bread. Good for
Yeah.
him. I'm happy for. Congratulations to both of those guys. I'm happy for. I know that's obviously a dream of theirs. You talked about how it was a dream of yours. Where were you when you got? Did you have a draft party? Where were you?
No, because we didn't know what round I was going in. We didn't know if I was going to go to first through the 5th was where I was told I was going to go.
Man, that's
So,
a wide.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
It's a wide spectrum.
But you got to
pretty much.
remember, too, they had so many rounds also.
Yeah.
This was something totally different. You can take a chance on a high school kid as opposed to what they do now. A lot of times it's a lot of college people that are getting drafted pretty high now. Now you want the college right-hander that's already been out there that seems to be more experienced. But, yeah, we didn't have no party.
No party.
No party.
Just kicking it.
Just kicking it. We had a going away party.
So were you surprised where you were drafted?
I was surprised that it was Montreal because I hadn't talked to them but once. I had talked to other teams multiple times. I had talked to the Cincinnati Reds. I had talked to the Cleveland Indians multiple times. My last workout was with the Toronto Blue Jays. So I wasn't even thinking about Montreal. So it was real interesting to me that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you did go to Texas, you would have been obviously a part of the legacy, the great legacy of Texas baseball right now. But you're still pretty close to the program, as close as to the program as anybody that I know. And you did say a couple of weeks ago that you thought Troy Tulowitzki coming back to the program could be, should be, would be an option?
Yeah, definitely. I thought it would be, could be.
Tweeted that out.
And I put that out there in the universe just because I had I've been at games, I've seen things, I've been around different people. And when we were in Arlington at the very beginning of the year, he was there. He was there, like hanging out, talking to everybody. And maybe it was because he was in that area and he was just working out up that way. And it so happened to be there. And I was glad to see him, got a chance to spend some time with him. But the more and more certain things started happening around the program, I was like, the dude misses the game. He lives in Austin. Why not have him as part of the program? Whether he took the job at USC or not, or interviewed other places, I think he just wanted to take a break for a little bit. He had a son that's playing baseball that's out there, just had another kid too. So he was like, let me go. Because I'm not getting paid like that. So why not just take your time and spend some time with the family and get organized? He did graduate. He did when he got his degree.
He got his degree.
He went and got his degree. So it just seemed like things were headed into that right direction because you weren't hearing his name anywhere else. That's the other part, because there were coaching jobs that came out.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? There was a bunch of coaching jobs that were out there that you thought that he might be interested in, or they would even talk about him, but his name wasn't even brought up in those.
Yeah,
so with that,
which means either nobody was thinking about him, which is probably that's not the case.
Right.
That's unlikely. Or when people reached out to him, he
probably
declined.
already said, "No, man, I'm good.
I'm good." Yeah. I'm thinking about,
because he already had something else in mind.
And maybe this is what he had in mind.
Yeah.
He will be brought back to University of Texas in an official capacity as the director of player development. Named the director of player development for Texas. So that your tweet was, here it is, I wouldn't be surprised if Troy Tulowitzki is back with the Horns in some capacity. The players and fans loved him. Still a quote free agent.
Yep.
So that's
because he was still sitting out there.
You put that out there the end of June.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it could happen.
It could definitely happen.
It did happen. So I'll give you a ton of props there, brother. Good stuff. So your thoughts about that move and the move, because I know you love that move, of course.
Yeah.
But the player development, that gives him overall kind of in terms of the overall roster, kind of give him overall authority, I should say, to be able to, I don't know, chime in or give his opinion on development of pitchers and hitters, everybody.
Yeah, he's pretty much over everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like a GM position. When you're looking at player development, he can probably go in there and make the workouts for everybody. He can go out there and say, all right, this is where we can see where this guy needs to get better at, especially on the infield. He's obviously going to be in there on the infielders, making sure that they're getting everything, but he's also cutting on defenses and making sure that you're lined up properly. And, hey, this is your approach at the plate. Here's where you need to fix this and look for this. And it's just a whole teaching part of it. And that's, for me, when you have a guy that can do a little bit of everything and kind of oversee that, it helps your program even that much more.
What's can he roster construction as well? Is that
he can have a little input? Like he could see some of these players, like everybody's got film out there now, right? So when you look at their film, you could see and try to project what this player's abilities are. Is this somebody that fits your program? Is this somebody that is going to be a part of the success that you're looking for? He can look at that too.
You're talking about scouting everything.
A little bit of everything.
No, I think that's exactly what you might have wanted. Our Longhorn fans might have wanted as well. What are your thoughts about Coach Pierce deciding that he will take over the pitching coach duties for Texas baseball? Obviously, Coach Pierce, that is his expertise. When he was at Rice, famously, he was their pitching coach for a really, really long time. And he's had, I see 4 pitching coaches now.
Yeah.
I guess if you technically, he's taken over as a pitching coach.
Right.
Third in 3 years, if he's technically the pitching coach. What are your thoughts about that? Good, bad move?
Well, he's been here. He was here last year. I mean, he was there last September. He came from Duke. I got a chance to hang out with him too. Got a chance to talk to him quite a bit. Good dude. Definitely understands the game, but because Chris Gordon is going to be a guy that is going to be aiding with the pitching staff for Texas.
So
he's going to be the pitching coach. Pierce is, but he's getting help from Chris Gordon.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. You know as well as I do, when you put yourself out there like that and you're the head coach and you're going to say, I'm going to be the pitching coach now,
well, yeah, I mean,
there's a lot that's going to be on you.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, it's kind of like the head football coach saying he's going to call the plays.
Right.
You can no longer blame regression or lack of productivity on an offensive coordinator or someone else.
Correct.
It would be blamed. It would lay it directly at your feet.
And that puts all the pressure on you too.
Yes.
Yes. So you're pretty much putting yourself in the position that you have changed over quite a few times now.
Well, and at that point, I guess he has to take it over because he can't seem to get any chemistry, continuity with the guys he brings in. He's handpicking these coaches.
Correct.
He's handpicking Woody Williams. He's handpicking
Sean
Allen.
Yep.
And he's deciding at one point that he wants to part ways with them for whatever reason. We don't really necessarily know.
We don't.
But he's dissatisfied with something. And he's done that.
And it's weird because both years the pitching staff has actually been pretty doggone good.
In 2021, you had the lowest ERA, right?
Yeah.
In the country. And
right.
you were top 10 last season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily maybe it is productivity, but you can argue the numbers say
something else.
Otherwise,
yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm always like, okay, well, what is it? Where are we going with this? Like, what is the changes that are constantly being made? And then you trying to figure out, okay, you had Tulo leave, and now he's back. Like, what?
That's good, though. That's a good sign he's back.
That's a great
move. It's a great sign that he's back, though, because that would mean that, hey, he liked what was going on enough that he's back in that capacity. And so,
yeah,
if the coach right now, if Coach Pierce is disagreeing with these pitching coaches, maybe it's just because he's a pitching coach.
Possibly.
And he's a little bit more critical.
Yeah,
he's a little bit more critical of that more so than any other part of the blueprint of the team.
Yeah.
Because he's like, no, he sees that with a different eye.
That's the thing. And that's the thing when you have a different – if that's what you do, it's like me being a hitting coach. If I go do a hitting job and I know how to teach people how to hit, then all of a sudden I get a guy in here that's not teaching the way that I want it to be taught. And it's like, well, you hired me to teach hitting. You know what I'm saying? So those are those kind of internal conflicts that you may possibly have. I don't know that for true, as they like to say. I don't know if that's a true statement, but I sit here and I'm listening and I'm watching and I'm seeing the changes that are being made. And here's the other thing. You fell short of a pop fly in the outfield. That Texas could have been back into the College World Series. If they go to the College World Series, are you still making that pitching change too? That's what I'm saying. Like, you've had success and then you've changed again.
Well, okay, even on this show, though, we've talked about how at Texas, the standard for Texas baseball is extremely high.
Correct.
And yes, Coach Pierce, I think, has done a damn good job. Mm-hmm. And we've seen a lot of success with Texas baseball. Third Big 12 title in 7 years, fourth time, reaching the Super Regionals. But for Longhorn baseball fans who are used to national titles,
correct,
that being the standard, they may not think that's good enough, and maybe Coach Pierce is feeling some of that pressure.
I definitely would think that. I definitely would put that out there.
Yeah, we've talked about, following a legend like Garrido, who also followed a legend. That's really tough on a coach like Coach Pierce, who was a damn good coach, but just maybe not a legend yet.
Yeah, but he's done enough to be warranted as not necessarily a legend because he hadn't won the College World Series, but they've been there quite a bit.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they've been there quite a bit, and there's a lot of programs that can't get there that many times. It's more about finishing, though. And I think that's where he's trying to get. And if he believes that him doing it is the way to do it, so be it. But there's a lot of responsibility when you're trying to run a team and you're also the third base coach. I would think Coach Rodriguez would move over to be the third base coach. I would think Steve Rodriguez would be the third base coach, and then you can put, I don't know if Cameron Rupp is still going to be here or somebody else, and you can put somebody else out there at first base to be the first base coach. But Coach Pierce would probably need to be in the dugout.
Yeah.
Because you can't, how many
It's
things
a
you
lot.
going to be doing?
It's a lot. It kind of reminds me of that Office episode where Dwight Schrute decides, you know what, I'm going to do it my damn self.
You know, Dwight, this whole search for the assistant thing, none of these people are good enough.
I know.
What I'm about to say makes no logical sense, and yet it might be the most logical thing I've ever said.
Jim, this is going to come as no surprise, but I know exactly what you were going to say. The only possible assistant to my assistant
Is
me.
Me.
Coach Pierce right now. He just looked around and I was like, guys, you know what? I think my best pitching coach is me. So, yeah, Coach Pierce is going to do it. So now you have the coaching staff is complete. 3 assistants, Philip Miller, Steve Rodriguez, and Caleb Longley. Tulo's going to join as the director of player development, and Chris Gordon is going to be basically assistant pitching coach.
Yep.
Is that
Yep,
basically
that's
kind
what
of
Chris
the title?
Gordon. Yeah, that's what he's going to be. Because he was in charge of the hitting and pitching development as well here at the University of Texas. So he does have some knowledge, but, I mean, come on, man.
No, I would, and listen, I think there is some pressure. I'm glad this texter brought it up about the SEC. The SEC is a different monster than the Big 12 when it comes to baseball. And
sure.
LSU, hell, man, what's the LSU manager? What's his name?
Jay Johnson.
Man, he laid down the hammer. He laid down it was essentially a death row Suge Knight call to arms after they beat Wake Forest. Like, hey, man, if you one of the best players in the country in college baseball and you want to go get drafted really high in Major League Baseball.
Number 1 and 2 that he had in the draft yesterday, by the way.
And you want to play and win championships and you want to get paid top dollar with NIL, come to LSU.
Yep. And he let you know. And last night they had him on the MLB network. He was part of the draft coverage.
Because he's like the Suge Knight up there now, Mike.
He had 1 and 2.
Hey.
Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz.
You're dealing with a different monster in the SEC when it comes to
Unbelievable.
baseball.
First time ever in baseball.
Exactly. He ain't stopping.
No. And that guy was a transfer. Paul Skeens. Everybody was trying to get him.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So he's saying we can develop you if we draft you out of high school or if you come over in the transfer portal.
Whatever
it don't
you got, we got you. Come to Death Row.
That's essentially what happened there, man. So I feel Coach Pierce, he's probably feeling some of that pressure and thinking, hey, man, I got to go into the SEC with people thinking about championships. So.
Won their national championship in his second year. Kim Mulkey won a national championship at LSU in her second year via the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. You got to get in that transfer portal.
You got to get in that
to
transfer
fill
portal.
a lot of voids.
It give it and it take it away.
Yep.
All right, real quick, let's talk Texas basketball just really quick, gentlemen, because they actually got a big commitment from Devon Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
He is a two-way wing. You know, he's a shooting small forward, 6'7", 180 around there. But this is crazy. They thought he was going to be a 2024 commitment.
Yes, he reclassified this year.
He reclassified. They actually, I mean, what's the reports that I saw is that Texas didn't have any idea that he was going to reclassify, and they end up reclassifying, and boom, he's going to be a part of the 2023 class for Texas coming in. And he was originally committed to LSU, and then Texas offered him, and Texas got him to. He didn't flip. I think he actually decommitted. He decommitted to Texas, but originally committed and chose Texas over A&M, Penn State. TCU, Colorado, Virginia Tech was really high on Rodney Terry, and that staff said that they communicated better and more frequently than any other school.
Yeah.
They
and that's how you're supposed to do.
That's what he said. I'll get the quote. That's basically what he said.
Yeah. That's the moment that you realize if these guys are going to be consistent and show the most love to me, why not? Why wouldn't you want to be with them?
Yeah, he said the relationship with Coach Terry and Coach Chappelle and the rest of the staff has been the best. Plus, the communication and support they've shown is unmatched. Texas has always been one of those schools that I've kept up with through my basketball career. And he goes on. So, there you go. I love the communication. Unmatched. Support and communication like that. So, Coach Terry still recruiting.
He's gotta
recruiting at
stay
this
on
point.
it.
Take the read out. He's recruiting at this point.
But here's the deal. He can't recruit. He's terrible. I don't even know why Texas decided to make him their head coach. What are you guys going to do? We just going to go out there and be like Suge Knight and tell him to come over here. He going to get a full roster, made an adjustment. Come on, guys.
It's done.
Be patient.
The projected final roster now: Max Amos, Tyrese Hunter, Ethiel Horton, Dylan Mitchell, Dylan Dessou. Got your two Dylans on there. Is it still Kendall? Is it Kendall? We decided Kendall, right?
I thought it was.
Is it Chindle or Kendall? Chindle or Kendall? Did we ever decide which one it was? We didn't. Yeah, because I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful.
I think it is Kendall.
I think it's Kendall. It just spelled like Chindle.
Yeah.
All right. I think so. Kendall.
I'm just going to go with that.
Chris Johnson. It is
Craig
spelled
Way will
like
text
Chindle,
us in a minute and say, guys,
the
the phonetics.
No, it's like
tell
the Max
you.
Amos thing.
Yeah.
People are like, Amos. They're like, no.
No, it's not Asmus.
It's Amos.
Yep.
Kendall Weaver, Devon Pryor, Brock Cunningham, and Alex Anamekwe, Zarik Onima, and Caden Shedrick. Your pleasures. There you go.
Love it.
That's your roster.
Yeah, they full, man.
It's done.
I've been excited about it. Every time I look at the moments of these guys getting a chance to commit to Coach Terry, and these aren't guys that are just committing. These guys are signing. They're signing at the time where they're about to be at the University of Texas. So this is huge for him and the development of a lot of these guys and their team of what they're about to become.
Yeah, Rodney Terry worked hard. I think Longhorn fans were just a little bit uncomfortable with how this roster was built in the new transfer portal in our era. I think they'll become a little bit more comfortable with it because it'll become the norm.
Yeah.
That's just how all the roster, not all of them, a lot of them will be built throughout college basketball with the transfer portal being what it is and being so active.
They said it is pronounced Kendall.
It's Kendall. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I figured it was Kendall, but I had to make sure.
Some people pronounce it different.
Nah, hey, trust me. Some parents just trying to they trying to get you slipped up.
Yeah, they trying to get you
to slip up out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate you guys on the Specs text line. All right, we'll come back. We'll get into. We got to talk about this Northwestern hazing scandal. This thing has become strange now because there are several different reports about it, and now we have some details about it. And we do remember that Pat Fitzgerald, the head coach, was suspended for 2 weeks from the program. Well, now the president may be rethinking that suspension. We'll talk about that. We'll get into also the Bob Huggins report, which is also strange.
That is really strange
He's
to me.
demanding reinstatement?
Come on, man. I demand a lot of things, but it just don't work like that.
Hold up. Is he claiming that his, you know what? We'll get into it. Didn't he claim something about his wife? Is his wife involved in this conversation? I believe the report says his wife is somehow involved, that she mistakenly did something. We'll discuss that too. Coming up next on the other side. This is Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about Dr. Greg Eckert and his fantastic team, because if you have any concerns about your dental health or hygiene, or maybe you just need a checkup, you need to reach out to Dr. Greg Eckert today, because he and his fantastic staff, they're great. Always on the cutting edge of all the technological advances in general dentistry, just to make sure that you're getting the best quality dental care available. Doesn't matter what it is: general dentistry, teeth whitening, dentures, porcelain crowns, veneers, dental implants, full mouth reconstruction, even root canal therapy. Whatever it takes to ensure you're getting the best quality dental care experience, that's what Dr. Greg Eckert and his all-star team are committed to. And right now, he can give you a brand new smile in just 1 day. I know it sounds too good to be true. It's not. It's just Dr. U. We're talking about permanently secured to your dental implants, no time spent without teeth. You'll get temporary fixtures until they can complete your permanent smile, and you'll smile again with confidence and eat freely without pain or discomfort. Now, folks, we're talking about a lifelike permanent solution. So if you've been told your teeth need to be replaced and you're worried about, oh, man, I got to get dentures, first just call Dr. Greg Eckert to learn about this revolutionary alternative to dentures, a brand new smile in just one day. It's a complimentary consultation, so you got nothing to lose but everything to gain, because he understands that the quality of your smile can truly affect the quality of your life. A confident smile can truly change your life. So go get it today with Dr. Greg at 512-345-3166. That's 512-345-3166. Or visit dreckert.com, DRUECKERT.com. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104 Now The Horn. Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's my man Patrick, the Idillionaire. Takes songs intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who may have had a tough weekend. But actually tough weekend, actually. I would say the Rangers and the Astros didn't end their pre-All-Star break half of the season well. Because they both ended with a loss.
Yeah. They did not go out in style.
Yeah, they were just distracted. Distracted. They're ready for the All-Star break. I get it. Both of those teams ready for it. A lot of folks ready for the All-Star break. Tonight, Home Run Derby.
Yeah, buddy.
We're going to ask our very special guest coming on for Harsh Knock Live. I'm going to ask him about who he thinks is going to win the Home Run Derby.
I'm going to tell you what, if he was in it, he might be one of the contenders. Because my man used to hit him way back yonder.
Harsh got a very special guest coming up for Harsh Knock Live. Tease it for the people once again. So for those who may not have expected to make it appointment listening.
Yeah, make sure you make it appointment listening. 4:30 in the Harsh Knocks Live. We're going to have the Angels hitting coach, Marcus Thames, former teammate and roommate of mine. He is the hitting coach of the Angels, and he will be on with us today at 4:30.
It's going to be damn good.
Yeah, can't wait.
Excited about that. Okay, let's talk about this Northwestern hazing scandal, gentlemen. Have you guys read the details?
I've read majority of this. Sometimes it just gets to the point where coaches can't say that they didn't know nothing was going on.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I read some of it. Yes, I agree. Well, that's no excuse.
It
may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Correct.
So
100%.
There you go.
Yeah.
There was a detailed article in the Daily Northwestern, which is the school's student newspaper, that described a lot of the misdeeds that they were engaged in here with hazing. Apparently, they had something they call running the players, practice of running players.
Yeah,
and it wasn't running like you think it is. Usually, the penalty was inflicted upon, it said, young players for mistakes made during practice. The Daily Northwestern's one piece said, I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's just absolutely egregious and vile and inhumane behavior. An unnamed former player told the Daily Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
The player said he reported the situation to the school in November of 2022. Running involves being restrained by a group of masked upperclassmen who would then commence, they said it's like basically kind of inappropriately basically engaging in like physical activity. I
Yeah.
would say I don't even want to dive into some of
let's
the
don't.
terms.
Yeah.
I won't even get into that.
Yeah.
You can go read it for yourself.
Yeah.
But one person said, who was anonymous in this story, it's a shocking experience as a freshman to see your fellow freshman teammates get ran, but then you see everybody bystanding in the locker room. It's just really abrasive and barbaric culture that has permeated throughout the program for years on end now. It's done under this smoke and mirror of, oh, this is team bonding, but no, this is sexual abuse,
Yeah.
said one anonymous player. The article contains details of players doing a lot of other things, including players forced to participate in naked center quarterback exchanges, an annual tradition known as the car wash.
Yeah. I've never been to a car wash like that. I've never had to participate in anything like that, and I've been in plenty of locker rooms.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of other stuff. That's some of the PG-13 stuff, actually. Some of the other stuff.
Well, some of the other stuff is like you're trying to
into.
alter people's hairstyles and do different things because it doesn't fit the Wildcat way. In case you didn't forget, you recruited those players. They didn't just show up and then all of a sudden they looked a certain way.
Yeah, no,
You know what I'm saying? You're recruiting them.
Also fair to say that a group of student athletes, players, did release a statement on behalf of support of Coach Fitzgerald too.
Oh yeah, trying to keep that scholarship.
And it was and it was stated in the investigation that he was not knowledge. He had no knowledge of it, and he was not involved.
Right.
They said it is. So that's basically So that was said in the third party investigation too. They still suspended him. Now the president, Mike Schill, apparently he is rethinking the suspension, the 2-week suspension.
Mm-hmm. It says he might have erred.
Yes.
In determining how he handled the situation.
Yes.
Come on, man.
So apparently he said he talked about the former player that he talked to, that he was extremely receptive to that former player and stated that he had meetings with players about what actually happened. And Schill informed the Northwestern community that he would take a fresh look at the case in light of the new reporting. He says.
So here's the thing for me in a lot of these situations, because there's so many different directions that this could go. We've seen people that have passed away from hazing, certain situations. We've seen people that have been battered, people that have been bruised from these situations. And we all know this. Everything that has been alleged may not be true. Everything that has been denied may not be true. But there is something to be said that some of this stuff did happen in order for this story to even be a story. We've all been there. We've all been in places where it's like, we probably shouldn't talk about this at all. But we also know that it did happen there.
Yeah, it's to me as a coach, when it's happening, like I said, who's authorizing this, right? If it's become something that now they have kind of baked into the culture of the program. If it's at that point, if it's baked into the culture, which happens, right? These kind of rituals or whatever traditions, they happen. Who authorizes it? Is it the player leadership that? Because it seems pretty organized.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, all right, you mess up in practice, you don't get ran. All right, so where is it taking place, and then who organizes it, and who gives the authority that these are the players who will be subject to it?
This your leadership council?
Yeah, I just want to know because I trust me. Exactly.
Yeah, it's your leadership council.
And if it is your leadership council, that's part of the toxicity.
Exactly.
And also, who's telling everybody that this is a secret?
Yes,
because if
nobody
it's not
talks
a secret,
about Fight Club.
But that's the thing, because if it's not a secret, then the coaches know, and if the coaches know, they shut it down. So it has to be not only done to you, but then told, hey, if you do this, we'll kick you off the team.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. So that's where the second part of it comes in of, hey, it becomes, it's wrong when you have to tell somebody there's repercussions if this gets out.
Yeah.
That's how you should know that you're doing something that seems
not right.
wrong.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Because the rest of it, you can go, we were just doing what we've always done. You go, well, did you know there was be repercussions if you found out? You go, well, yeah. And they're like, so there was something wrong then.
Something wrong with it.
There was something definitely wrong
Right,
with
because
it.
if they're hiding it from the coaches, then then you know something's wrong with it.
Because where are you doing this? You have to be doing it in some facility or some location.
It has to be.
So somebody has to know, but they have to be on a need-to-know basis, or else the coach would be like, hey, why was there 35 players that are at this facility last night? Like, were we running practice? Like, what were they running? I need to know. So I want to make sure I'm cool if they're running practices, but if they're doing inappropriate things, then I need to know also so we can shut it down.
Yeah, they got to shut that down.
So this goes back to your point about the toxicity in the culture of the program. Here's where it starts to happen. Remember 2020, we had COVID, so they were 7-2 that year.
Mm-hmm.
The year before that, they were 3-9 in 2019. 2021, 3-9. Last season, 1-11. They probably need to get rid of your coach anyway. So there's something that has been in your system that has now changed to the fact that your team is 1-11 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I didn't realize that getting it bad.
Oh,
Guess
yeah.
I don't pay attention to
No, because you don't.
Northwestern
There was
football
no.
as much.
There's a reason why you don't.
Well, yeah, and they're largely academic institutions.
Right.
So even they, yeah. But you're right. That shows you that something's
shows,
wrong.
Exactly.
Something's wrong.
Whatever you have baked up in there, that's your culture. You're doing it wrong right now.
Yeah, it's giving. Yeah, you baked it and it's bad.
It's bad.
You just got
It's
the bubble-
spoiled.
got
It's
the bubble
spoiled.
guts.
Yeah.
You're giving everybody bubble guts.
You
man, at that.
Pepto ain't helping you on this one.
Texas says, "Who ordered the code red?" Yeah,
Yeah.
T-Bone. Who ordered the code red? That's
No
what you
doubt.
need to find out. All right, that and somebody high up in that within that program did. And like I said, there's a coach that knows. I'm not saying Fitzgerald knows, but there's a coach that
Somebody
knows about
knows.
this.
Yeah.
There's
Whether
no
it's
way.
the strength
There's
and
an administrator
conditioning guy,
Strength
or-
and conditioning coach,
Yeah.
whatever, the little position coach,
Yeah,
assistant,
quality control guy.
whatever. There's
Yeah.
a coach that knows
Yep.
all about this. To say that no coach knows, that's
It's a little much.
Yeah, it's a little misleading.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, can we talk about this Bob Huggins thing? This is where have you guys? I don't know if you guys read the story that I read. I'll bring it up because I got it from On3, and On3 does a good job. And apparently, Bob Huggins wants to be reinstated.
Yeah, Bob Huggins.
Bob Huggins wants a paycheck.
Yeah.
Well,
Bob
also
Huggins
true.
needs a lot going on.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, he wrote a letter. Apparently, this news broke on Saturday that lawyers representing him, so he didn't write it. Lawyers representing him sent a letter to the school demanding his reinstatement. The letter, now widely available on Twitter, states that West Virginia treated a text from Huggins' wife, June. I love that name, June.
That's another one of them old school names. You don't hear a lot of Junes around here anymore.
When's the last time we had a hot June? You know what I mean? Back day, June Carter, you had a lot of hot
man,
Junes.
June was part
When's
of
the
it.
last time we seen a smoking hot June? Be like, dude, June body is banging.
Yeah, that's
June
a
is
good
so
point.
sexy. June is so Ethel is so hot, man. Have you seen Ethel? Dude, Ethel, dog. You ever seen her gram?
Man,
Ethel, you see Ethel's gram?
I just started.
It's amazing.
I just started following Gertrude.
Exactly. Dude,
Oh, Gertie.
Oh, Gertie Gert over there.
Dude, Gertie, she's bootylicious. She's dragging that wagon back there, man. Gertrude. That's what
Yeah.
but I'm sure June is lovely.
Yeah.
But he is claiming, or at least the letter is claiming that June Huggins, his wife, she sent a text. And basically, it was supposed to be a formal, or they took it as a formal resignation, but it was a text from his wife. Mm-hmm. The letter goes on to explain that according to Huggins' contract with the school, he himself had to tender a written resignation to the athletic director and university general counsel. Huggins never did send or hand deliver a written resignation according to the letter, so that's his case.
I heard my man Ian Buck talking about this morning, that in, I don't know if it's Canada, if you send an emoji, it can be considered a lock-in, so an agreement. So if that's what ended up happening, if that was what was sent in,
Yeah.
that's if he got the thumbs up on it back, that means
Oh, they liked it?
Yeah, they liked it. Yeah, they put the love on it. Someone loved your image. Yeah, I'm accepting that as your resignation, and we're doing it for you. We're doing it for you because if this was the case, why is it until right now that Bob Huggins is talking about it?
Just sobered up. No, I'm kidding.
Oh man, that was well done. Well done.
And he said it so calm too. He was like, "Well, you just sum it
man.
up."
That is, you should just leave right now, like George Costanza. On hide that. Get the hell out of here, man. That was fantastic.
That was great.
Oh,
that was it.
Okay, I forgot what you were saying. That
No,
was so
but
good.
look,
we were
he
just talking about
already got
Huggy.
knocked down to a year-to-year contract because
great.
dropping slurs on a radio station.
Right.
So he's already on a year-to-year. So all he could possibly get out of this at the end of the day is 1 more year's of pay, and he'd have to negotiate down. But it just seems like his lawyer called him up and was like, "Hey, did you like fully think this out? Like it's a college. They'll pay you money to leave."
Yeah.
Anyway, they will. They go, yeah. Don't worry about it. We'll get back. What'd you send him? It's like, well, we think we sent in a text from our wife. It's like, yeah, I can break that. Yeah, they'll owe you a couple more million.
No, you could be right. It could just be him trying to get money. But I just think it's strange. When they start blaming the wife, it's always weird. I think the last story I remember was it Colangelo? Who's that guy from the 76ers?
It was
that blamed his wife for his Twitter.
It was
like the
not
burner account?
Colangelo. I
What
think
was his name?
Oh my God, it's not Colangelo because Colangelo was the guy that was with.
What was his name? The 76ers executive. Was it 76ers?
Who?
Because Colangelo was with the not the Arizona, Phoenix Suns, and he's the USA basketballs
sure.
guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who it is, but I remember an executive with maybe the 76ers. He blamed his burner account. He had like
Was it Sam Hinkie?
Hinkie, that is him.
Was it Hinkie?
It is
I mean,
Hinkie.
Hinkie was the trust the process GM for the 76ers.
Yeah, I think it was another guy. It was somebody else. I'm not sure who. I'm not sure who it was. I could have got the name very wrong. But anyway, but it's strange that he would bring up wifey.
I'm still trying to figure out why he took so long. I mean,
Oh, it was Brian Colangelo.
It was Brian Colangelo, right?
Colangelo?
Yeah, I was right.
Oh, is
Who
that
had,
it?
the,
yeah.
who had the secret Twitter account.
Yes,
Is
it
his,
was him.
but
Yeah, that's what I
is his
thought.
dad Jerry? Because that's
Yeah,
what I'm thinking of.
there
I'm
is.
thinking Jerry.
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
a difference. It's probably his, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why he was with Phoenix. Jerry
Yeah.
Colangelo was.
No,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is. I remember that. Yeah, because that was like I think he just
That's
said
a rare name too.
Yeah, he was like his wife. That's why I remember it because it is a name you kind of stands
Yeah.
out. But his wife, he said his wife did it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? If you got to ride or die like that,
You supposed to.
that's if wifey can help you get the family an extra $250,000 or $500,000 or more, or keep your $1 million a year job or whatever it is, just because she's gotta take the blame for you doing something
Yeah.
stupid. Honestly, that's what spouses are for. I would do it for my wife.
And keep in mind, doing two stupid things back to back.
Yes, true.
Because it's either one of
Great
these,
point.
West Virginia probably doesn't fire him. Either one of them are both probably recoverable for West Virginia.
The
But
slurs.
the fact that you did the
slurs,
slurs,
yeah.
and then they were like, all right, you're on double secret probation. And then he immediately gets a DUI.
Yes.
Those two things are both manageable of, hey, you got to go to you have to go to sensitivity training. But when you have to go to sensitivity training and they want you to go to an alcohol class, there's too many classes you got to take now and still have your job.
I agree.
That's you can't do them back to back.
No, I'm
and
with
keep a job at a high level D1 school.
No, I'm with
or
you.
at a D1 school.
I think you guys are right. I think he's just trying to get some money,
I mean, because at the end of the day, they can fire you for cause.
and he got plenty of that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They let you resign
Well, and the bigger thing was
instead
though,
of being fired.
is it's not like he has 3 years left on a contract and there's this big buyout and everything else. He had agreed to, after being punished for the slurs,
to take the
to go year to year,
decrease.
take a pay decrease
Yeah.
and go year to year. So the most they can do is be like, well, yeah, we're going to fire you after next year. So we would have to work on a buyout for 1 season. But that's already not like, so it's not a ton of money that he's going to get bought out. But yeah, I'm sure his lawyer just was like, hey, we can get money out of him, right?
Well,
West Virginia, they don't want to pay the legal team either. They don't want to do any of this.
Well, like this texter just said, he said when you don't forget the lawyer typically gets 40% of the negotiated settlement.
Yeah,
So he's like, yeah, let's go after him.
exactly.
Let's go get some bread. Because don't look like I'll be working for you much longer.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Huggy Bear's wife wants to cut the cash. Texter says, "Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's to me, that's a ride or die. You're supposed to take that, take that blame. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody knows who June is, and like I said, maybe she was the last hot June. I don't
Maybe.
know. She could be.
Do you think she has sisters named April and May?
Well done, your dad joke. You're not, good job.
You're not even a dad.
Good
And you're over
dad
here making
joke,
those
good
jokes
dad
that I
joke
should
there.
be doing.
Okay, so we'll get back to some of the other stories because we'll talk about Wemby in the top of the 4 o'clock. We got the flex on the other side. We'll get into the flex. And also later on, we'll talk some Texas football coming up too in the top of the 5 o'clock. We go back behind the Burners curtain. So we got lots to get into. More and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104 down the horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. I got to tell you, had a great weekend. Hope you did too. And part of the weekend fun was breaking out the Bud Light, the world's favorite light beer and my favorite light beer. We're talking about the sure sign of a good time because it will turn those good times into great times and the rest of the times become the best of the times. That's what I love about Bud Light. I've been drinking Bud Light for a long time, since my days on the 40 acres on Dirty 6th Street, since my days in the NFL as a player. Now, it's to decompress after a long, hard day, or maybe just to reward myself after some yard work, or just trying to cool off to beat the Texas heat. It's always a good reason to break out the Bud Light, and it's certainly the case for my Longhorn tailgates on Saturdays and NFL Sundays. Whatever you want, Bud Light can be the perfect beer for any occasion. Whether you want to toast and cheers to a brighter tomorrow or drown your sorrows, it's never a bad time to break out the Bud Light. Bud Light, brewed deep in the heart of Texas by Texans for Texans, and certainly proud of it. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Spoon Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. The idea you have Patrick Davis playing jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who may have had a tough weekend. Time for the flex. FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all of your social media platforms. Speaking of the flex, shout out to my man Jacob Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this. Got an offer from Yale.
Yeah, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Big fella trying to do some things.
Man, I knew he was about his grades and about his business. I didn't know he was that much of an academic achiever. So obviously being a great player on the field, he's doing great things off the field too. So shout out to Jacob Henry and congrats on that Yale offer.
And this year he's going to be able to play some offense too because he's working on the offensive line as well as the defensive line, which is when he went over to Vandegrift, he switched numbers, and I was like, man, that's interesting. But then you see the video, and it's like, oh, he's playing on the line too.
Yeah, he's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
He's working on a few things that keeping him from taking it to the next level. And if he can, really master some of those foundational things, he's gonna be a serious problem.
Yeah.
FLXATX.com is never a problem. It's always a solution for you, especially if you want the best information and the best stories about Texas high school sports in this area. Right now, they have a district preview. Football preview is already up. There's a District 25 6A preview, District 26 6A preview up there as well. You can go check that out at FLXATX.com. And I believe, also 12 6A. Up there as well.
Yep.
And I believe they're working on their All Flex teams too. So you can go check All Flex watch list, I should say.
Yep.
Go check that out too at FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all your social media platforms. We come back, we're talking Wimby. I'm not even looking over at Patrick.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Feel him.
Don't look at him.
Cheesing, grinning from ear to ear just because we're about to talk about Wimby and Greg Popovich's new contract going to be with the Spurs for 5 more years. We'll talk about that. And also, I'll put Patrick in a bad mood because we'll talk about the NBA in-season tournament, which he already hates. He ain't even seen it yet.
Yeah, I need to hear more about this.
We'll discuss it on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. That's when my man Patrick, the Idillionaire, plays jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who may have had a tough weekend. But even if you had a tough weekend, I got something that'll cheer you up. Harsh Knock Life coming up next. My man Mike Harge, always working hard for the people.
That's
got
right.
a very special guest coming up for us in Harsh Knock Life. What you got for the people?
Hitting coach for the Angels organization, Marcus Timms, is going to be on the show with us. Former roommate, former teammate of mine in the Yankees organization, and this man is working with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani every single day, and I can't wait to talk to him about it. We've heard Gene Watson talk about how freakish Shohei is. Now we get to actually talk to somebody that works with him every single day, that gets to see him every single day. It's going to be fun.
That is going to
conversation.
be a treat, man.
Yeah.
That's if you're a fan of health, not just baseball, of sports. Period. You want to hear
Yeah.
that conversation. It's going to be good stuff coming up in about. We'll get out early, so we'll make sure that's coming up for you in about 20 minutes from now. Okay, let's talk about Wemby, gentlemen. Wemby did make his debut over the weekend, played in 2 Summer League games. They've already shut him down. That's the latest news. They've already shut down Victor Wembanyama, so he won't be playing in any more Summer League games, but I don't think we need to see any more. He did have I don't even know if it was underwhelming. He just had a performance that wasn't eye-popping in the first game versus Charlotte. 9 points, 8 rebounds. I thought the 5 blocks, though, was phenomenal. I mean, some of his defensive plays, you don't even think he's going to get there.
Yep.
And then the length, just the go gadget ability of his reach, it is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
5 block 3, and I love, man, his touch. He's got some nice. You can tell that he really does as a passer. He's got some nice hands too.
Oh, he
as a
does.
passer.
And
Real
ball
soft.
handler.
And as a ball handler.
And great vision for
Yeah.
a guy that
I mean,
know
he can see over everybody.
he can't see over, but he has to look down on everybody.
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
fed.
No
That's a
doubt.
good point.
But it's a great vision to see where guys are cutting, and he's hitting guys that are cutting, not just guys that are stationary, which is
Yes.
the next level of passing, which you want that out of a guard, but you don't always have that with centers.
He did struggle from the field in the first game. He was 2 of 13 from the field and 1 of 6 from three-point range in those 27 minutes. But he did bounce back, gentlemen, in the loss to Portland in that second matchup. He of Summer League, he had 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, 1 steal. He went, he was 9 of 14, 2 of 4 from three-point range, 50% from three-point range. And he had 12 free throws. I believe as well. Took a lot of free throws. He was magnificent in that second matchup. Patrick, I'll throw it to you because you are a resident Spurs fan. What did you think of Wemby's debut overall?
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. Game 1, you saw a lot of the things that you kind of want to see of the innate ability defensively.
He is. He's a natural.
And, they put him out guarding Brandon Miller, which was a big test to see, all right, can he start guarding threes? So if he can guard threes, it changes what you can do in your lineup because now he can switch to 3 to 4s and maybe he can guard, 3 positions. That makes it easier to put, different lineups out on the court. So I think they were trying to see with that, playing against Brandon Miller, he blocks that 3 blocks the three-pointer, is able to take it going the other way.
He had 2.
He had 2, yeah.
He's had 2
And
block 3 pointers.
So there was a lot that you could see in that first game where you were like, okay, I can see it. The offense will come. He's not going to be that bad of a shooter because he was 2 for 13, which is the main thing that everybody was focusing on that wanted to be negative about it was, he shot very poorly in the game. You could tell he didn't have a feel for it in some moments. Like he wasn't going for the rebounds always. It looked like he was a little bit more nervous on game 1. Game 2, he seemed much more calm, and especially once shots started falling, it seemed like everything started to click a little bit more. And by the end of the game, he just looked like, oh no, I'm playing basketball again, as opposed to all up to that point where he had looked like every eye is on me and everything I do wrong, they're all telling me I'm unfit. Like you just saw that.
Yeah, he relaxed.
And so, when he relaxed, it looked much better. But it's Summer League. And, if you watch Summer League basketball, you're going to see a lot of guys miss a lot of shots. It just is what it is. So you have to look at other parts of the game and trying to judge what guys can do. What we saw from him is that defense is going to be really, really good starting year 1. And then it's going to have to go. And I don't think he was picking up a lot of fouls either. And you get 10 fouls in Summer League. So some guys go for the gold and get 8 or 9 in a game because
He's so
they can.
long he doesn't have to.
Yeah,
he
but
can go around you.
but that's to not stick a leg out when a guy's driving. Because for him, he can stick a leg out, and that's an easy foul.
He's more
Snap,
coordinated
too.
than a big man usually is.
Yeah. So there was a lot you could see that gives you a lot of hope that, this year is going to be one of those years of, I don't think it's going to be consistent where I think you're going to have both games this year.
Yeah.
You're going to have game 1 and game 2, and you want to have more game 2s than you had game 1s. But I think you're going to see where it's going to be, offense will be inconsistent in year 1 probably. But the defensive side of the ball, he's going to make a huge difference for the Spurs team that was not great defensively last year.
Yeah. Generational. I think he can be a generational defender.
Yeah.
Like he really, at length, sometimes.
No, I think it's that basically David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Dikembe Mutombo to a different extent were the guys who could get triple doubles. And I think David and Hakeem were guys that get quadruple doubles with blocks.
Yeah.
And so when you put him in that, I think he could be in that category of a guy who will get a few quadruple doubles in his career just because he may have a game where people keep coming at him and he gets 10 blocks. We see he can pass, he can get 10 assists. We know he can get 10 rebounds and 10 points. So he is a threat for that in his career multiple times.
I think it's so good.
Yeah, I look at him too, and my favorite part about him was after that first game when everybody was coming after him, he was like, I still have a lot to learn. I didn't know what I was doing out there. And I think the unfair criticism is watching someone play in one preseason summer league game where, Patrick, you and I have talked about this before. It's really hard to watch summer league basketball. I talked to Zay about it because everybody's trying to make a name for themselves too. Yeah. Everybody's trying to show that they could get to the bucket when they want to. They're trying to show that they're making the right basketball play. But every once in a while, guys are still trying to figure things out. Some guys are used to playing a certain way, and then he gets in here, and then all of a sudden he goes out there and gets 27, and people are like, oh, yeah, man, he got it. He got it. Yeah, I mean, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah,
Dude's been on the road the whole time.
That's a great point, too. And Patrick pulled some audio. He does say this, too, in the postgame, basically remarking that he hasn't played much basketball.
Right.
The last month or so, really.
The mug was trying to go get breakfast tacos in San Antonio just a couple weeks ago,
well,
man.
yeah, he's been jet setting all over the world pretty much.
Right.
Here's Wemby in the postgame just talking about how he can't wait to just get back to being a basketball player.
Yep.
Is all this over that's what you could concentrate on?
Yeah. It's late in the past month, I think basketball wasn't even 50% of my schedule. That was, I can't stand it. I know it's a special moment in my life, but I'm glad it's over. Honestly, I just want to hoop. I just want to work out, lift, and because this is my life. Obviously, every first pick got to go through this, but it just makes me better for the future.
So celebrity basically has taken up more of his time than basketball in the last month.
Yep.
And
Britney Spears.
We saw they tweeted out that he skipped a bunch of parties in Vegas to get sleep. And it's like, he is a guy. He's like, man, I want to hoop and sleep. And like, that's kind of all I want to do right now. I'm not trying to do anything else to take up my time. But you could tell he seems like the interviews and stuff, at the beginning, he was kind of enjoying
a little bit of it.
A little bit of it. To be like, oh, people are talking to me and everybody wants to hear what I got to say. And then you're like, all right, now I've been asked the same question for the 50th time. I've done this, and I just want to I just want to get to where I'm going and not have a flight on my schedule to go talk instead of play basketball.
He's like, a workout? Oh, I'd love a workout. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Can I get
Hey,
the workout
Pop,
in?
yell at me, Pop.
Yeah, exactly. He also, this other piece of audio that we have talked about, he talked about the difference. And obviously he hadn't played, a true NBA game just yet. It's just a summer league. But talk about the difference between so far what he's experienced in the summer league and what he's known as being a player playing in France. Here is Wemby.
It's first of all the court is more open. It's going fast, but it's less physical and I get fouled a lot, but not as much. Nothing to compare. And and people are players are just flying, Out there it's more underground, pushing underground, big box outs. Here it's great athletes, the best in the world, way more talent. And but I like this better though.
All right.
I like this better.
But no, I love how honest he is, though.
Yeah.
He's pretty forth. He hadn't learned how to kind of beat around the bush yet with stuff. He gives it to you exactly.
Doesn't learn player speak.
He really hasn't, right? 'Cause he's like,
Yeah.
it's not as what he basically said. It's not as he didn't get fouled as much. But so
Right.
I think he can absorb the physicality a lot better. I thought he absorbed the physicality better than I thought, and basically better than I anticipated.
Let's be honest.
Because I
though.
thought he was so skinny and wiry that sometimes the contact would throw him off. It didn't throw him off that much.
And not only that, this would be the only time that it would be this out of control. Basketball is a controlled game. They're not just going to let you. The NBA don't let you get beat up anymore.
Especially stars.
Right. And they need you to be there. This will be the only time that he'll be playing against people that are hungry. These guys are trying to get to the league. They're trying to make rosters. He's on a roster. He's going to be okay. When he gets into the NBA, these guys are veterans. They're going to try to do some different things to him, going to try to push him around. But for the most part, it ain't like it was back in the day when people were really trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
He fits this era's basketball. He fits in perfectly.
He'll gain weight. I mean, he's still a baby giraffe right now.
Man.
Yeah, he's only 19 years old.
Yeah.
He will put on some weight. Yeah, it's
He's going to get that old man weight anyway.
and there will be there's going to be teams and coaches who throw stuff at him to be more physical with him, and it's going to depend on how the game is called and those if they can do that or if the refs let him play or if they don't.
Right.
That'll be part of it. But he's also going to play what it looked like. He was playing a lot more away from the basket where you can't be as physical because
Right.
you can't play with your hand out. You can't hand check guys. And so it's not till he gets in the post where you can really start to put a beating on him. And on the defensive end, if he's guarding a three, he's not going to take the abuse because no 6'6" guy is going to post up on him.
Right.
No way.
Because all he has to
Got
do
no
is stick his
shot.
hands up,
Yeah,
and you're dead.
You got your
So-
Go ahead
you
and
got
pump
such a-
it. That's the thing that always kills me. I'm like, why are you falling for a pump fake? You should never fall for a pump fake.
Hey,
You
Serge
should always be-
Jabari Rice would beg to disagree. Serge Jabari Rice is like, what pump fake got me to the league, man?
Yeah, but I'm
you're right.
talking about for him, 7'5".
You're right.
Can't
He should
nobody
not,
get
no, you're
over
right.
you.
Yeah, he should never fall for
Yeah.
it. You got to have a rainbow shot just to get over him if
Exactly.
you're trying to post him up or something. I will say this too about Wemby that I really, really did like though, because to Patrick's point, man, he is more comfortable on the perimeter than I thought. Like and he didn't mind.
He's
it at
nice
all.
with it, man.
He is.
He's
Yeah,
nice
he's
with
gonna
it.
he's gonna have to figure out some of how he drives. Is you could tell they were really going for it in game one, and he stepped back in a little bit. But if you're 7'3" and you're trying to dribble the post, even dribbling low, there's a lot of area where
Yeah.
someone can jump in and steal the ball, and the defense is just collapsed on him every time. So to know when to pick the ball up and have to make the decision to, take a jump shot,
Drop to
pass the
basket,
ball.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if three guys collapse on you,
Yeah.
someone's wide open.
You're right.
So those are things you have to work on. But again, that's one game into his professional career in America. I wouldn't go, well, he's never going to figure that one out because he was already better at it in game two.
He did. Yeah, no, his game too. He was nice. He really did. I mean, he did showcase the overall skill set, and it is an expansive one. So I'm excited about the Wemby debut. I'm sure Spurs fans are too, and they are even more excited about this news that Pop has signed up with the Spurs for 5 more years. It's an $80 million deal, gentlemen. He's going to be the highest paid coach in NBA history. He's 74 years old, so the contract will have him with the Spurs till 79, right before his 80th birthday. What are your thoughts about getting Pop for 5 more years, Patrick, for the Spurs?
I love
fandom?
that it just, you wanted to get a contract done. He is the president of basketball operations as well. So there may be a point where he steps and moves over to the other role and is no longer the head coach. That is also a possibility that could happen somewhere in there. So it is not saying he will necessarily be the head coach 5 more years, but he could be the head coach for 7 more years. We just don't know.
Yeah.
But I think he now sees more of a light in the tunnel at the end of the tunnel than he did maybe a couple years ago when it was, I don't want to leave the franchise in bad hands. But now that Wembanyama's here, he's like, okay, if I can get the next step going, and I can be part of that, then we can leave the franchise with a winning team, and then I can step back and let a new coach come in and not have a new coach brought in that we have to cycle through coaches because it's not necessarily the team, it's him, but the team's not there.
Yeah, no, I think this fits perfectly in terms of the window with the end of the Warriors run and then the beginning of the Wemby Pop regime. and then Steve Kerr can almost have his vacation and kick it and have those 2 years off where he goes to be a broadcaster or whatever. Right before he just kind of slides into the head coach role, and Pop just goes up to the front office.
I could definitely see too.
You think it's Kerr?
It just feels like, I'm just saying, it's the windows are matching up. That's all.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right?
And
I
I
got
feel
you.
like it would be if they win a title in 3 to 4 years. That could be Pop just goes, okay, we won another title. I can now step back. We have a coach that was part of this title team that we're gonna hire to be that, or we'll bring in
That's
Steve
true.
Kerr, who's another champ. We'll have a decision by then. But that way I can go away and be like, look, I left the champion. I got us back there again.
Right.
Now it's in your hands to keep the dynasty going. But I feel that if that happens in the next 3 to 4 years, I feel that could be the perfect walk away time, and to still be president of basketball operations.
Oh, yeah.
Still be involved in the team, but
Take more of the Pat Riley role.
step back a little bit.
And, man, if Pop wins another one with Wemby, think about this, guy. So, I mean, where is he going to be in the GOAT discussion?
Right.
If he wins another one with Wemby, you're talking about being able to recreate and reinvent a great organization and have these dynastic runs. Where would he be? He's already on the Mount Rushmore, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty much on the Mount
I thought he was.
Rushmore.
I know. I mean,
he's
he's
on
also
Mount Rushmore
he's
already.
also the all-time winningest coach in NBA.
That's what I'm saying. So it's on the Mount
Yeah.
Rushmore already.
So he's already up at the all-time winningest coach.
So we're
and
talking
then
about him
some of the
being-
guys below him, like Lenny Wilkins and Don Nelson, don't have the rings.
Mm-hmm.
So you say this guy's the championships and the wins. He's really far up there.
Hey, we might be
and if you say 3 more years at even 40 wins a season,
Oh, nobody will
that's
catch him.
another 120 wins.
Yeah, nobody's going to catch him at that
So
point.
if you're saying even averaging 40 wins a season, which is just a 500 team,
And then, yeah, I know. So, and then you'd have missed the playoffs how many times? Just like twice? Two
two or three
Yeah.
times.
2 or 3
I
times?
mean, just since
like
Tim
2 or 3
retired.
times. Like,
How long has Tim been retired?
Yeah, great point. I just like 3 times, whatever it is. That would be unbelievable. I think he'd be GOAT. I think he'd be the GOAT if he won another one.
Yeah, especially because he's going to go into the world where it becomes like him, Phil Jackson, and Red Auerbach, I think would be the 3 that you kind of put in there.
Yep.
Phil just didn't have the longevity.
But Phil probably did it in a more flamboyant way than everybody else, just
Yeah.
because of the players that we did it
Yeah.
with, the MJs, in LA, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I think there's that. And then Red is just another era. And so
Yeah.
history will tell you the newer guy's better than the older guy because, well, in the old times, anybody could have done it. They were playing with plumbers. And,
Right.
and the reality was they had to invent a
I
salary
love
cap.
how everybody pre 1960, they got to be so.
They were all plumbers.
They got to be so upset. Exactly. Everybody like pre 19, like even 1970. Anybody pre that, they got to be so upset with the way sports is discussed.
Yeah, by the way,
when we
Bill
just
Russell
dismiss anybody. Like you
was
were
an insurance
you were-
salesman
Yeah,
on his
you were not a good
offseason.
athlete because you played against scrubs at that time.
Basically, Bill Russell was a high jump champion and
Yeah.
could have been an Olympic gold medalist in high jump, but had to give it up to play basketball. But no, plumbers, everyone.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But-
all of we do it every sport though. Every sport. We do baseball.
Yeah.
We talk about it. Babe Ruth. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Anyway.
But
Babe
yes.
Ruth was playing
Now,
against guys that
the
were
real-
throwing 70.
Yeah. Exactly.
The
Yeah.
real argument is that the Celtics had so much talent on their team and could just keep signing and drafting talent to their teams because the way the league was, that they was a really unfair advantage for a while until they created the salary cap.
Yeah.
don't-
To
yeah,
basically be like,
absolutely.
hey guys, you can't just get everyone.
Yeah.
So that is more the side of Red Auerbach being like, no, he just had like all of the players.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we see that in college sports too, where you get all the players that have the scholarship limits and all that. Because I get it, the modern era debate, no
Yeah.
question about it. But Pop, either way, I mean, it may not matter what era you're talking about if he wins another title with Wemby. Oh, speaking of, Pop signed a 5-year deal. Do we have this audio of Pop, Patrick?
Yes.
This is Pop. I don't know when this is from. I really don't know when. This is not recent. I don't believe. Well, I don't know. What
Maybe.
you find recent. It wasn't. I apologize. It wasn't in regards to the new contract he signed. This was just him at one time being asked about.
Yeah.
He's being asked about intrinsic motivation, and here is what Pop had to say.
You always ask questions like that, like it's a philosophy class. My inner motor, what drives me? My paycheck.
That's it.
I mean, that's as real as it could get.
Don't be so invasive philosophically.
Yeah, he was asking Pop like, "Oh, what drives you, man? You're gonna
Yeah.
be, you're one of the greatest coaches of all time." He's like, "My paycheck, man. I want that straight cash, homie."
For sure.
And the Spurs, they understand his love language, which is pay that man. So 5 years, $80 million.
There you go.
All right, let's get out early here so we can make sure we got lots of time for our very special guest coming up next for Hard Knock Life. What you got for the people?
We got Marcus Timms, the batting coach for the Angels organization. Spends his whole day with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, and just want to get into the conversation about baseball and where it's going right now in the Angels organization.
Oh, man, this is going to be good stuff. All right, we'll get out early. We got a very special guest coming up next. You don't want to miss it. Harsh Knock Life right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn, Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my favorite tequila. It's Hot Cat Tequila. By now, you understand what the cat stands for. It stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila. And the recipe is just as simple. It's just as brilliant. It's just as delicious. It's just cinnamon, agave, and tequila. As a matter of fact, this weekend, I enjoyed myself some nice Hot Cat Tequila, and it was served cold because it was a little hot outside. It was fantastic. As a matter of fact, I had some friends of mine over, and they also enjoyed a little Hot Cat Tequila. As a matter of fact, I've had friends who don't even like tequila, but turns out they really enjoy Hot Cat Tequila, and that's how good it is. Now, if you're a tequila lover like me, then you love Hot Cat Tequila, but even if you don't like it, it's so good, it'll turn you into a fan of tequila, because Hot Cat Tequila will turn any event into a party, and every party feels like a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila, and once you try Hot Cat, you'll never, ever, ever go back to that old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you ordered rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. So turn up your party with Hot Cat Tequila. It's the perfect way to pregame for all the big games, concerts, festivals, or any night on the town with family and friends. Best served cold for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rocks. So visit Cat Tequila. That's cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila, or to find a bar near you that serves up Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila.
Welcome back to a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's your boy Hardball Harge. You can follow me on Twitter at Hardball Harge. You can follow my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers. And, of course, you can follow the man behind the glass at It's Patrick Davis. We also love it when you're a part of the show, so hit us up on the Specs text line 512-337-3776. And joining us on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline is one of my favorite people in the world. Me and him were rocking in Norwich, Connecticut. He was the one that was trying to make sure that I didn't lose my mind half the time, especially late in my career. He was an up-and-coming player. In that year, he put up one of the best minor league seasons. I know it was probably one of the best minor league seasons that he ever had. He is the hitting coach of the L.A. Angels right now. He is my man, Marcus Thames. Marcus Thames, as my boy Horn used to call him. What's up, bro?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time. When I told my boy Rod and Patrick that you were going to come on with us and talk a little bit about Shohei and Mike Trout, Rod was like, "Oh yeah, it's that time. We've been because we talk about him like a unicorn every single day." And me being a former baseball player, being your teammate, we played around a lot of talented guys. But when you get to the big league level and you're working with a guy like this every single day, what is it about him that makes him so
Just his focus in his work. He's very detailed in what he's trying to get done in his cage work. And then, Mike, man, what's so amazing about this guy, he takes about 10 balls off the tee, about 15 soft tosses, and then he go out and play and face major league pitching. He don't even take batting practice. He is just – I just told him one day, I was like, the good Lord just said, here you go. Here's all the talent that you need. Don't mess it up.
Wait. Let's back this up a little bit. So my man doesn't even take BP. It's all done in cages and behind the doors?
Everything is inside. He took BP 3 times this year, once at home, once in New York, and once in San Diego. That's it. I just think, he probably has some family members there, some fans that he just wanted to chill out in front of. But other than that, man, he just he focused on what the pitcher's trying to do, and he just trusts his skill set. And man, I'm telling you, it's been fun to watch. It's just been really fun to watch. And when I first got out here, I went to Arizona in February, right before the Super Bowl. Most guys want to go to Super Bowl parties, want to go do this, want to go do that. He called me up, and he's like, "Hey, Marcus, I want to go to the stadium today and go hit." And I'm like, "Oh, crap, this guy's for real." I had always heard the stories, but just being around him every single day, man, it's been a treat.
Wow.
Yeah, that's deep.
That was man, that's unbelievable. Okay, I got a hypothetical for you, Marcus. Hypothetical here. So your life is on the line. All right, one hit saves your life. You get to choose your batter, Mike Trout or Shohei.
Dang, you gonna put me on a spot like that?
You know what?
Hey, you got an easy answer right now because Trout is hurt. So you got an out right there.
That's a good one.
So right now, you're right.
That's a good one.
I'll go with Shohei right now. He's talented.
Well done.
That's good. That's good. I got you an out right there.
Yeah.
I got you an
Hard
out.
got your back.
I got your
Hard
back.
got your back.
Always. So, Marcus, I wanted to ask you that since you brought up and we just had the conversation about Mike Trout. He's another one. For a long time, people were looking at him as the face of baseball. We've had conversations here pretty much every baseball season about some people really aren't the face of baseball because of the fact that, number one, y'all are on the West Coast. Number two, Mike really doesn't like that kind of limelight. He kind of stays to himself, and obviously you can speak to that even more than I can. But just watching him every single day, another Shohei Ohtani. Shohei was the guy that came in, and now he's kind of taken over from where Mike Trout was. But Mike Trout is still a box office draw. What makes him so special?
You know what? Like right now, I think he's got like an 875, almost 900 OPS, and like he hasn't really had a really good season so far to his standards because he's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But this guy works his tail off, man, every single day. Even like he broke his hamate bone the other day, but he's been in the cage just watching his teammates work. When we have our hitters meeting, he's participating in that, trying to help his teammates be better too. So he's just an all-around athlete, man. And I just remember in 2011, my last year playing, He was coming up his first big league spring training for him, and he hit a ground ball, and he was running down the first base line. I'm like, holy crap, who the heck is this guy? So I went out to eat with Torrey Hunter that night, and I said, Torrey, who in the hell is that guy running down the line? He's like, that's the guy that's going to move me from center field to right field. And that was Mike Trout, and he was a rookie at the time. But, dude, like just watching those two guys prepare on an everyday basis, it's been pretty fun. And I've been around a lot of talented guys. I mean, I was in the minor leagues and pro ball with the Yankees in the 90s with Strawberry and Chili and those guys. I was in New York with Judge and Stanton. I played with A-Rod. I played with a lot of guys, man, but these two guys here are right up there at the top of the list.
Yeah,
Wow.
It seems to be like these guys are a lot different. And we've talked to other players other people that have been around them, whether it's from the front office, scouting department, and they say the same thing. It is amazing to watch these guys go to work every single day, and they make it look so easy. But what we don't see is the behind-the-scenes work that they are putting in. And don't seem like Shohei's doing that much work because he's just taking 15 balls off the tee and doing a little soft toss, but he puts work when it's time to get to that plate. We're talking to batting coach, Marcus Thames, 10-year major league player, and somebody just hit us up on the text line and said, wasn't he part of the Ruben Sierra trade to the Yankees? And I'm like, yes, he was part of that trade that year. And that was after Marcus had an unbelievable year in Double-A, and then he gets moved out after he gets to the big leagues with the Yankees. But he's had multiple stints. He's been there as a hitting coach for a long time, and then he was also with the Marlins as well. So, Marcus, I wanted to ask you this too, bro. Like, you've been around the game, and you just mentioned a bunch of players that you've been with, been against, and been working with as a hitting coach. What excites you about this every single day? Obviously, you're in there with you're still living that major league lifestyle. But other than that, being around these types of players, how much fun does this bring you?
It's a lot of fun, man. It's always fun to try to help other people, and I've always been that way. You know, I was like that when we played together in Norwich, and I'm always trying to look out for my teammates, and I always still do that now as a coach. It's not just about myself; it's about the 13 other hitters that we have, and even some pitchers sometimes try to pick my brain of, ask me to read swings on other hitters from them. So I'm always like trying to help others, and most of the goal, man, is to try to win a championship. I've been close a couple of times. I've played in the World Series, but I never won one. So my ultimate goal is to do that, but also to just keep helping these guys, no matter if it's on or off the field, and just trying to help guys be better.
Hey, Marcus, I want to ask you a question about Shohei. What is the most underrated part of his game? Because I think it may be his speed. What is it, in your opinion?
His speed. Like, the dude, like, he flies. Like, he could go play receiver right now. NFL, like, he's 6'5", 6'6", 225, 230 pounds, and he runs like a freaking deer. Like, the other day he hit a triple the other night in L.A., and it was like he was just floating. And I'm sitting there, I looked over at Nevin, I was like, holy crap, man, this dude is, like, he's unreal. Like, everybody throws out the unicorn. That's what he is, because it's just different. But, like, his speed is it's like really, really, it's up there with some of the best guys in the sport.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it, because people really don't understand how unique he is and what we are seeing from him every single night. Every year in and year out, you're seeing something new from this guy, and he just continues to get better and better, whether it's on the mound or if it's at the plate. It's so unique that we're like, this is a throwback to the throwbacks of all throwbacks.
I tell guys, man, I'm like, he's like that best player on these travel ball teams that are doing it now. He's striking out 10 and hitting 2 homers with 4 ribbies. And, like, you don't do that at the major league level. Like, it's unheard of. Like, people talk about Babe Ruth. I didn't get to see him, but I'm getting to see the real guy right now.
Right. That's what it's all about right there. So I'm gonna tell this story real quick, Marcus, before we let you go, because Marcus was one of the first people when I got to Norwich to come up and open arms and have a little bit of fun. And then my boy Tyrone showed up, and Tyrone is coming up on his anniversary of the home run cycle that he hit. But Marcus saved me one time in Norwich right before a game. I was having a dispute, and I was ready to go nuclear on the middle of the field, and he kept telling me, this is not where you want this to happen at. This is not where. And I'm supposed to be the one trying to teach him about being a pro. And Marcus is coming to me and like, say, dog, I know you ready to go left, but this is not the right place to do it. And I've always told him, I was like, man, you saved me so much on that day because your boy was at wit's end. I was at my wit's end. And I wanted to tell you this too. Mark Marizzi lives here, and we talk regularly. He lives here in Austin, Texas, and he's an athletic director.
Wow.
Yeah, small world, bro. Small world. And I told him that you were going to be on. He told me to tell you what's up.
That's what's up, man. But no, I appreciate it, man. And no, I appreciate all the things that you and Horns used to sit me down and talk to me about. I still use it to this day. And I never forget people that helped me. And it was an honor, man, for you to call me and ask me to be on the show. And it's been cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. We try to keep it real. Rod's a former NFL player, so we understand what it's like when people are always on the go and have a lot of things that are going on. So we appreciate you taking the time.
sure.
That's when I looked. I was like, All-Star break is coming up. Let me reach out to Marcus and see if he's going to be on vacay. I don't want him to be taking up all your time. I want you to enjoy it because you don't get a lot of time off. So when you do get that time off, I want you to enjoy it. So we appreciate you, and we will definitely be in touch for real because I still got to see this Shohei in person. So when y'all come to H-Town, you know I'm coming through.
For sure.
Yeah, let me know, man. And it's been great, man. I appreciate everything, brother.
No problem.
Thanks, Marcus.
There he is, Marcus Thames, batting coach for the Los Angeles Angels, who gets to see Shohei, Mike Trout, and everybody in the big leagues on a day in and day off, day in basis.
So break down for the people how rare it is that he doesn't do the BP. How rare is that?
Bro, when he said that, you saw me look at you like, what? He don't even go out to the field because it's all about the atmosphere, right? You got to go out there. You get the feel for it. It's like you going out in pregame.
Yeah, of course.
You're running around. You're getting the feel of the grass. You're doing everything. And my man's not even taking BP on the field.
That's wild.
And going out and doing that against major league players? Like, he's doing soft toss in T. For those that don't understand, obviously everybody knows what T work is. But soft toss is just someone flipping you a ball.
Like you
and
would
just
do
hitting.
your little kid.
Yeah, you're doing a regular little practice and say, hey, let me see how far you can hit this.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing, and then going out there and destroy. I mean, that's got to ruin people's confidence. And speaking of Shohei, the lineup comes out. He's batting second tomorrow in the not home run, but in the All-Star game.
Marcus Semien going to be first?
Yeah, Semien is going to be the leadoff hitter. And they're giving Corey Seager and Josh Young. Corey Seager will bat cleanup. Josh Young will bat eighth. And Jonah Heim is going to bat ninth and start a catcher. They got 5 starters by the way, Texas Rangers have 5 starters in there.
No, that's the Texas Rangers. Like I said, they deserve to have a break.
Yeah,
because based on what they did, they're getting a lot of love in the All-Star game as well. They should.
Yeah.
Also, I want to ask him, and we didn't have time. I want to ask him about who he thought was going to win the home run derby tonight.
You know what? Pick? I'll text him. I'll text him right after this and ask him who he thinks.
I want to get his thoughts on who he thought was going to win the home run derby tonight. We'll actually make our predictions on who we think is going to win the home run derby tonight too. Adolis Garcia in there.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he's going to win.
No.
And I know Ranger fans are probably hoping, but please don't go up there and try to hit the ball all out of the stadium. We need you to be ready to play because we need a new run.
But you got to hit it out to get them special gold balls, right? That the plus.
Yeah,
you get that.
No
they hit the 450 plus, I think it is, or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a distance bonus.
The distance bonus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know. I will see. The format hasn't changed from the home run derby, right?
No.
Since they
switched it to where you're going up against a person. You're not, It's not like all the way down.
It's basically
and
a bracket format now, right? It's a bracket format. Okay, so we'll talk more about that. But thanks to Marcus for coming on. Harge, thanks for Harge for opening up the contact list once again and getting some of them nuggets about 2 of the best baseball players on the planet.
2 of the best baseball players.
Man, that is I mean, how long has he been with the Angels?
This is his first year with them.
Wow.
Yeah. He was with the Marlins last year. He was with the Yankees for a while. He's also been with a couple other teams. They've been in the minor leagues for a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's still in the game and giving back. And we really did need him a couple times because he came in through the Yankees organization.
Okay.
So when I got to the Yankees organization, I needed someone because the Yankees run things totally different than any other organization.
I bet.
They make you shave. You can't have facial hair. You have to wear your uniform a certain way. You have to present a certain way. So he was
it's the
giving us,
brand.
it's the brand. Because the brand going to be there.
Yeah,
You gonna be gone.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
That's I didn't realize that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He said he's got Pete Alonso
Ooh,
as
there you
his pick, and he says Mookie is his sleeper.
ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts versus
Yep.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
That's gonna be that might be the best bracket.
Yep. That's
I'm
going to be a
looking at it.
doggone good bracket.
You have Lewis Robert Jr. versus Adley Rutschman.
Yep. The catcher from the Orioles.
Pete Alonso versus Julio Rodriguez. That's a 2 and a 7. The Lewis Robert Jr. is a 1 and a 8. Mookie Betts and Vlad Jr. Is a 3 and a 6. And then the Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena. Oh, he's a
he's
stud,
crazy. Yeah,
right? Yeah, he's been a stud. So that's a 4 versus a 5.
yeah.
So those are your brackets for the Home Run Derby. All right, we come back. Thanks to Marcus for coming on. That was a great conversation. And thanks to Haraj for opening up the contact list. We come back. We'll get into Off the Record on the other side. A lot of stories in Off the Record. So we're having kind of a smorgasbord. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Austin is a beautiful city. It's a magnificent city. As a matter of fact, that's why we all call it home. And, one of the things we love about Austin is the unique aesthetic appeal. It's a beautiful city, thanks in no small part to the skilled craftsmanship of Ironworkers Local 482. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935, and you see the labors of their love all over this great city in iconic, exquisite landmarks that you may be driving by right now and not even know it, like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as our city continues to grow and thrive, so does Ironworkers Local 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. So if you're looking for an exciting new career, you want something new, something fresh, something that will challenge you, you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. Right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project, so you can become a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Guys, apparently the Chiefs, one of their super fans, you guys know the Chiefsaholic? Yeah. He's the guy that wears like the werewolf costume in the stands. Apparently this guy has been evading authorities for months. He's been on the run. Like that guy, the Chiefsaholic, the unofficial mascot, I should say. Xavier Michael Babudar, a 28-year-old individual, is facing charges of bank theft and transporting stolen property across state lines. Court documents revealed that he was accused of robbing the Tulsa Teachers Federal Credit Union on December 16th. Man, right before Christmas. I guess times get hard. After being released on bond February 2023, he removed his ankle monitor in late March, and he's been on the run.
Yeah.
Ever since.
Until now.
According to the affidavit, he's alleged to have laundered the proceeds from the robberies through local casinos and bank accounts.
What?
The method of money laundering enabled him to conceal the illicit origins of the funds. He is scheduled to appear in federal court in Sacramento, California later on Monday. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least he went out with a bang.
He was finally arrested, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was on the run for a while. But he's
How many Chiefs games can you buy tickets for by robbing a bank?
Well, he was trying to get some. He probably needed to pay for the tickets.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought he would have, I thought he'd had sponsorship or something by now. He's been doing that for a while, hadn't he?
No, sir.
No.
I mean, I'm sure he
That's
has, but
but he's only 28, so it can't be that long.
unless his family's grandfathered in, like his family tickets.
He ain't crazy.
Yeah.
He wasn't a little wolf for a while and then a bigger.
That'd been awesome if they got like a full
Show the
family.
progression of him and everything.
Oh, man, that would be hilarious. Yeah, he's not the only mascot. The Patriots mascot got in trouble once. Do you guys remember the Patriots mascot getting in trouble?
No.
Oh, yeah. The Patriots mascot, I don't think it was bank robbery. It was maybe something else. Or maybe it was like some other type of illegal activity. It was way back in the day, though.
Okay.
So I'm not throwing out there every Patriots mascot, but it was a Patriots mascot also. Got some trouble back in the day. Okay, another story here. And I don't know if you guys probably heard about this. Remember Larry Nassar?
Yeah, I do.
The guy that was
The creep squad?
Unfortunately.
The creep squad?
yes, the Michigan State, pedophile who has basically been a sexual abuser, who was disgraced, convicted of sexually abusing female gymnasts. He was stabbed during an altercation in prison. He was in the U.S. penitentiary in Coleman, in Florida. And he was stabbed. A source who first learned about the attack on Sunday evening confirmed to ESPN that Nassar was taken to the hospital after suffering multiple stab wounds. Two people familiar with the incident, but not authorized to publicly discuss it, told AP that Nassar was in stable condition Monday after being stabbed in the back and chest.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, they're going to find you.
He's 59.
I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. Nobody,
He's sentenced to 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
60 consecutive, right? Like, I mean,
he was considered in 2017. He was sentenced to 60 years in prison on child pornography charges. In 2018, he was sentenced to an additional 40 to 175 years in prison for sexually assaulting gymnasts, including some Olympic medalists. And in February 2018, he received an additional 40 to 125 years on top of that in Michigan State Prison after pleading guilty to an additional 3 counts of sexual assault in Michigan. So, yeah, I'm not adding all that, but yes, in jail for life.
That's what I thought. I thought he was never going to see the light of day.
He does not deserve to see the light of day.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I thought. I thought he was going to be one of those guys that is like, uh-oh.
Oh, and for the record, the NCAA did decide that those charges were not necessarily NCAA violations, just so you know, even though it happened on the Michigan State
Like, how is that not?
Because crimes against humanity are not necessarily NCAA violations. I'm not joking. That's true.
No, I know what you're saying.
I'm serious.
I'm just like, when you break it down, you're like,
that's true.
That is very true.
That
is how you come up with those
just because you've
answers.
committed a crime against nature that we all agree is, disgusting, deplorable, and abominable does not necessarily mean you committed an NCAA violation.
Well,
They realize
that's Baylor.
Hey man, if you live in a glass house, don't throw rocks. is the NCAA motto. Hey man, we are we are not any chance to say we're on the moral high ground here, so we can't tell you morally what you can do, even though we all know it's wrong. We all know what we're doing is wrong too. So we're just going to be quiet in the back here.
Yeah, North Carolina had a academic fraud, basically a scandal that lasted almost 2 decades with fake classes included in this scandal, and the NCAA investigated and said, yeah, we know you created fake classes, but that is not necessarily an NCAA violation.
That's not our problem.
I wish I was making this up. I'm not. It sounds like a comedy bit. It's not.
Yeah.
That's how ridiculous the NCAA is.
Yeah. And then a small school does something, and they're like, all right, NCAA violation.
Yeah.
You guys get out of here. What are you? You're not in North Carolina basketball? All right, you guys get out of here.
Who got a free meal? Des Bryant got a free meal. Des Bryant, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you can't do that. You went with Deion Sanders?
You got a free meal. What you get? You got A1 sauce on that?
Yeah,
You got a
exactly.
steak?
You're
Chicken
supposed to
fried
get
steak?
Heinz
What you get, mashed potatoes?
57.
Brown gravy?
Yeah.
What's the NCAA violation? You cannot get brown gravy. You got to get white gravy every time.
Has this program been giving out free lunches? Lunches to hungry students? The whole society will collapse if these students are allowed to receive free lunches. You know what? I don't even want to be here anymore. Free lunches. I can't even.
It's disgusting.
How do you sleep at night?
Exactly.
How do you sleep at night?
That is the NCAA in a nutshell. Anyway, so there you go. Larry Nassar in the I don't think anybody feels bad for Larry Nassar.
Not at all.
And you should not as
Not
well.
at all.
Okay, we come back. We'll get into Texas basketball. Actually, we got Texas baseball, Texas basketball, and Texas football. So we'll go through all the 3 big major sports on the 40 acres to go behind the burnt orange curtain. Texas baseball did hire Troy Tulowitzki. Give Hart some props. I would say, what's today? Today is, the 10th?
10th.
Almost 2 weeks ago.
I did.
Close to
It was
2 weeks
almost 2
ago,
weeks ago.
Harge predicted that Troy Tulowitzki would be back in some form or fashion. Well, Harge was right because he is back in some form or fashion. We'll discuss that on the other side, and we'll talk about Coach Pierce deciding that none of y'all out there is worthy of being his pitching coach. Only he is worthy of being his own damn pitching coach. We'll talk about that too. Texas basketball getting another commitment. Xavier Worthy reportedly looking better than he's ever looked on the 40 acres. Y'all better be ready. X gonna give it to you. We're coming back right here on Ball Don't. I want to put down the horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about our friends over at Apple Leasing, because one thing we know about Apple Leasing is they're trying to be your friends. As a matter of fact, that's man Scott Crosser. That's exactly what he says about his business model. He says he's out to make friends, and then he'll let the car business take care of itself. Well, that's how he's been doing business here for almost 40 years here in Austin. And because we know finding your perfect car, the best car for you and your family, at the right price for you and your budget can be really, really tough. It can be time-consuming. It can be stressful. That's a lot of headaches, and we got enough headaches to deal with, don't we all? So let my friends at Apple Leasing take care of that for you. You give them the price you want, the payment you want. You let them know what kind of car you want, an SUV or maybe a sedan, whatever fits you and your lifestyle, and they will take care of the rest. Give them a call, 512-346-9977, or reach out to them online at appleleasing.com. All it takes is one phone call or one click on Apple Leasing's website, and you'll get a quote on any make or model vehicle that you want. They can even give you an estimate on the value of your trade-in right over the phone. Somebody who knows this all too well, first-hand account, is my man Mike Harge.
Yes, you are 100% correct there, my man Rob Babers, because of the fact that the people over at Apple Leasing, whether it's Scott, Lance, Jeff, or Chris, they always are able to walk you through everything. There's so many opportunities out there for people that really don't understand what leasing is all about. All you got to do is go over to appleleasing.com and they will walk you through the process. It's so easy. They make it so easy for you that you may not even have a down payment and 0 payments for 90 days with their easy lease policy. All you got to do is reach out to them and tell them that we told you to reach out, because they'll get you through the process. I've done it 3 times and I could not be happier. My family's happy. and so am I. It's so easy, and everybody's always confused about what leasing is. They will walk you through the process, and even if you're already in a lease, they can help you upgrade your lease. That's how easy they do it over there. Go to appleleasing.com or give them a call at 512-346-9977 and enjoy the process. Anytime you're buying a car, it can be strenuous, it can tax you out, but they make the process easy. Go to appleleasing.com.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick the Idillionaire takes jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans out there who may have had a tough weekend. No tough weekends for Texas baseball fans because they got a great bit of news earlier today when they learned that Troy Tulowitzki will be returning to the Texas baseball program, and also did get clarity on Coach Pierce's hiring of a new pitching coach. He didn't hire a new pitching coach. He just promoted himself to pitching coach.
Yeah.
That's what he decided to do. So we'll get into that story here. Also, we'll get into Texas basketball getting another commitment in the 2023 class. Originally, they thought it would be a member of that 2024 recruiting class. Turns out it's going to be a member of the 2023 class. So we'll get into that. And also, we'll talk some Texas football as well.
As they get another recruit. They get a recommitment from Aaron Hampton.
Aaron Hampton,
Yep.
he's an athlete, basically,
Yep.
right? So we can talk. We'll talk some Texas football as well, and lots of reports about the offseason going well for Xavier Worthy and him looking better than ever. And Texas ranked in the Phil Steele preseason poll. We'll talk about where Texas football is ranked there as well. So we got some nuggets to get to. We'll also talk Texas football and Rod's rant of the day. So if you don't get your football fix in the top of the 5 o'clock here, we'll get it to you in Rod's rant of the day. Specs text line 512-337-3776. You can hit me up. I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse, Harge at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse, Patrick Davis, the real MVP at It's Patrick Davis. Top of the 6 o'clock, we'll get back to the Wemby debut and talk about Wemby's debut and Pop signing a 5-year deal to be the Spurs head coach for the next 5 years. He's 74 years old. So we'll get to that coming up in the top of 6 o'clock. All right, let's get to Texas baseball here, Harge, because I'll give you all the credit because you said it and you tweeted it out so people would know. So everybody would see it about 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago. You tweeted out after we learned that Texas was parting ways with their pitching coach, Woody Williams. You tweeted out this, quote, "I wouldn't be surprised if Troy Tulowitzki is back." You actually quote tweeted the Kendall Rogers story and said, "I wouldn't be surprised if Troy Tulowitzki is back with the Horns in some capacity. The players and fans loved him. Still a," and he quote here, "free agent."
Yeah.
Hashtag hook 'em. Well, Harge,
He was out there.
you spoke it into existence. It happened. I mean, you might have some sources that told you that, or maybe you just great minds think alike. What are your thoughts about Troy Tulowitzki coming back, and what is it going to do in the role that he is in now as the director of player development? What kind of impact is he going to have?
I think he's going to be a huge impact because of the fact of you can go and talk to someone that has gold gloves, that's been in the league for a long time, that's been around the program already. A lot of these players probably were wanting to come to the University of Texas because he was here, and then when he ends up leaving, they're like, "Oh, man, I'm not going to get to work with Troy," because the knowledge, it's more about the conversations. You heard Marcus Timms talk about it a little while ago, talking about how myself and Tyrone Horn got a chance to sit him down a lot of times about things that he was going to face because we were older players. So we had already gone through that, and he was a guy that was on the rise, that was seen as a prospect. So we had been around a lot of prospects. I was a prospect at one point. So we've all walked through some of those things that he was getting ready to have the opportunity to be a part of. So we were trying to look out for him just because he was such a great guy. And that is some of the things that I think that Troy Tulowitzki is going to be able to buffer for the players, because Coach Pierce, he may be a little rough sometimes to the players. He may not have that same, they have that connection right there. And not to take anything away from my boy Steve Rodriguez, he's probably doing the same thing, and he's probably glad that Tulo is there too, because now he can move in a different direction and do some different things because you have leadership guys that are going to be there. He's in the off the field capacity, and sometimes I would much rather go and talk to Tulo as opposed to having to talk to Coach Pierce, and vice versa, because the messaging can go from one person to the other and still get the results that you need on the field.
No, it's a great point too, and just even if it's the same message, a different way to communicate that message also matters. Troy Tulowitzki, as the director of player development, is that basically a way to say he can put his insight and opinions almost into any part of this roster construction or the blueprint of the team?
Absolutely, and I think a lot of that has to do, too, with the respect that they have for each other. There's no way you leave and come back if there's not some mutual respect.
And I
there,
like
too.
that too. That's a great point about the
Yeah.
respect, but I also like that Troy Tulowitzki was attracted, to the culture of Texas. That what he saw initially here when he was here the first time, that it was not something that transpired that turned him off.
Yep.
From
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah, exactly.
Texas was still a very attractive location for him.
Absolutely.
And this is a guy that we know got options. And he's like, no, I want to be a Texas. That makes me feel a lot better too about what's happening behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of potential that is still there. There's some things that, even though you were a misplayed fly ball, bad lighting fly ball away from possibly going to the College World Series again, that's my other question is, would he have made a change? Because he did it the year before. He made a change after you get to Omaha. If they get to Omaha, is Woody Williams still the coach? Is David Pierce still believing that he's going to be a better pitching coach? I mean, there's so many questions that are going to be answered. And I see some people, they're all trying to figure some things out. But in 2006 to 2011, he had 27 pitchers drafted over that time in the
At
major
Rice?
league at Rice.
Yeah.
When he was at Rice.
Yeah.
So within the first 10 rounds. So there's something to say about, hey, maybe he does know quite a bit about pitching, but a lot of that too, it's like I used to teach this kid. He was an unbelievable baseball player, unbelievable athlete, and everybody's like, Mike, you got him right. No, the dude was talented.
Yeah.
I just fine-tuned some things.
Yeah.
There's some guys that are out there that are talented that just need some fine-tuning, and maybe that's where some of the information gets kind of lost.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's obviously been some controversial moves for Coach Pierce because he now has decided that he will take on the pitching coach duties. He will have an assistant pitching coach pretty much. That will be Chris Gordon, who Harsh talked about earlier, who obviously help him in that role because he is the manager, so he's got a lot going on. But it will be his third change at pitching coach in 3 years. And it'll be I guess you technically consider him to be a pitching coach. It'll be his fourth pitching coach since he's been there at Texas. He's been on the job for 7 years. And as a lot of people have brought up, and you brought it up too, it's not like the pitching has regressed, a ton. So it hasn't regressed and fallen off a cliff. Actually, you've had some of your top pitching statistical performances annually within those 7 years where he's changing pitching coaches. In 2021, you had the lowest ERA in the country. It was 10th, I believe, in 2022-23. In that 21-22 season, and 22-23, you were 10th during that season, and those are two different pitching coaches. And Texas still had one of the best pitching staffs statistically in the country. So he's obviously disagreeing with something other than just flat out productivity. And we obviously are not privy to whatever's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
I do think at this point he's changed pitching coaches so many times. And maybe it's because he's a pitching coach, as you brought up, by trade. So he's going to have a more critical eye of that facet of the game. Just like when I watch football, when I look at I'm looking at DBs with a more critical eye than I am of probably the line play.
I look at shortstops and quarterbacks the same way. I'm like the same. I'm like,
yeah, because I'm a DB, so I'm looking at DB and I'm being very critical there. So I think that's a big part of it too. But at this point, maybe he truly believes that he's the best person for the job.
No doubt.
That he's been so critical of these good, because he's brought in good pitching coaches.
Yes.
All right, Woody Williams and Sean Allen, good pitching coaches. And maybe he figures now, listen, I've been critical of good coaches.
Yeah.
So maybe instead of bringing somebody in, another good coach, so I can be really critical of them and they can do a good job, why don't I just do the damn job myself? It either reminds me of that scene from The Office when they're trying to find Dwight Schrute's assistant to the assistant.
Dwight, this whole search for the assistant, search for the thing, none of these people are good enough.
I know.
What I'm about to say makes no logical sense, and yet it might be the most logical thing I've ever said.
Jim, this is going to come as no surprise, but I know exactly what you were going to say. The only possible assistant to my assistant
Is
me.
That's Coach Pierce at this time.
Me.
He's just like, it's me. And everybody's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go. So I actually think at this point in Coach Pierce's tenure, and he's been on the job for 7 years, and we've seen success, right? Third Big 12 title, reached the fourth Super Regional. He's at where the Cowboys are, in a sense. you got to get past the divisional round.
For sure.
Like, Cowboys fans don't even give a damn about the regular season record no more. They don't really care about the excuses, in terms of roster construction, all that. All they care about is, did we get past the divisional round this year? That's the only conversation
That's right.
that Cowboys fans are trying to have.
Yeah.
And I think Texas baseball fans are similarly at a certain point where they're like, Did we get to the World Series? Did we get to the championship game?
Are we playing for a
Are we
championship?
playing for a championship? We're not. Okay.
Okay. Then what are we doing?
Because that's right now, and I'm not Cowboys fans. You don't need to have this standard.
No.
But Texas baseball fans do have a really high standard. Probably of all the sports on the 40 acres, other than swimming and diving, they probably have the highest standard of any of those sports.
That's fair. Besides track and field. Track and field's getting
track
there,
and field could be in there too, but swimming and diving
and golf.
Swimming down.
Yeah, swimming and diving is in their own
nobody's
place.
been touching. They're Mount Olympus right now, and everybody else is like, trying to work their way up there.
Yeah.
But I just think at this point, because that standard is so high, he's thinking, I have to pull out every possible stop to get this program to the next level, which is winning a championship. Because Texas baseball fans, they don't understand any other type of love language.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
That's the only language that we know.
That's the only language that Texas baseball fans know. It's like, we got to win a title because we had Augie. All right, and then before that,
Cliff Gustafson.
I was like, you went from legend to legend. You went from GOAT to GOAT, and then Coach Pierce is damn good, and you're like, well, we went from GOAT to GOAT, so going to damn good ain't enough.
That ain't enough.
Sometimes even great, going from GOAT to great ain't enough. Like, can't go. So they need him to win a title. It's unfortunate, but that's part of being a prisoner of your own excellence.
That's when you're here. That's what's expected for you, especially in these types of sports.
Well, and after being there for a while now.
Yep.
How long is he? What, 7 years, right?
7 years. And he's one hell of a run, though, in 7 years.
He's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's
but like
one
I said,
hell of a
long
run
run baseball fans don't want to hear that.
They
All
don't
want
care
to hear
about
is,
how the run went.
Oh, exactly. Like, did we play for a championship? No, it's like, then we don't want to talk. And I agree, it's unreasonable.
Yeah,
it's unreasonable. It's irrational. Mm-hmm. But you're talking about fanatical people. That's why they're fans.
Yep, that's what fanatic.
And all they want to do is talk about championships.
Yep.
And that's why he brought back Troy Tulowitzki, because he knows that.
Because he knows what it's all
about.
He's
like, nah, we gotta up our ante. So I'm fine, but for Coach Pierce, it's more pressure on him because now you don't have the buffer. Usually you got a buffer like, well, that guy ain't getting his job done. I'll correct that guy, and then we'll figure it out. But now it lays at your feet. It's gonna lie right at your door.
Yeah, and there's nobody else you can point at. That's it.
No.
This is it. This is you.
It's you. It's like when the head coach start calling the plays, you're like, all right.
It's all
that offense
you.
or that defense stank it up, then that's you.
Yeah.
We know who the reason is.
Yeah.
It's you. It's nothing lost in communication. That was a bad game plan, and my guy didn't adjust, and we miscommunicated here. No.
Yeah.
You're the guy calling all the shots. Buck stops with you, and you decided this, and that was the wrong decision. So
no doubt.
The pressure is on for Coach Pierce. I think he's up to the challenge.
And I think he knows that right away. This is what it's all about. So here, if we're going to go, we're going just like this.
Yeah.
And I ain't mad at him. Go ahead and do your thing. I just look at what the moves are and the fact that some of these players that were expected to get drafted, a lot of them haven't gotten drafted yet. Some of the recruits that were coming to the University of Texas, they didn't get drafted as high as some of them might have thought they were going to. So this is going to be one of those situations where it's like, okay, Texas may make out really well in the recruiting class and the returning players. Tanner Witt hadn't got drafted. Lucas Gordon hadn't got drafted yet. Oh, no, Lucas Gordon did get drafted.
179th overall to the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
We should throw that out there.
But
Congrats.
Tanner Witt has not. And that was a name that everybody was looking at. And some of the recruits that they were looking at.
Dylan Campbell did go 136th overall. We should say that to the Dodgers as well.
And Travis Sakura, who was the highly touted recruit out of Round Rock, the top-notch pitcher, he got drafted in the third round by the Nationals. So with those three, those are the names that
were attached
we were
to
talking
Texas,
to.
the program, and they got drafted.
They got drafted.
Okay.
Then you got Tanner Witt, not drafted. LeBaron Johnson, not drafted yet. And Will Gasparino said that he is coming to the University of Texas because he has not been drafted yet.
Okay.
So there's going to be there's another part of this.
Yeah.
You're getting some guys here, and you're going to have some help. So now what are you going to do once the help gets here?
And just real quick, going back to Dylan Campbell, he will have how long to make his decision?
Until school starts.
Yep. Okay. So he's got a little while to make his decision. For those who want to know, Dylan Campbell drafted 136th overall to the Dodgers. The slot value for that pick, according to Aaron Little of Orange Bloods, is $473,000.
Mm-hmm.
473, 700 actually, and then Lucas Gordon is at 179th slot to the Chicago White Sox. That slot value 317,400. It's a nice chunk of change.
Little chunk of change.
Congrats to those guys, man. That's a hell of a moment. Hey man, you drafted second round, 48th.
48th overall.
48th overall, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
it's a totally different time, though.
That is true.
It's a totally different time. There's so much more that is happened within those moments. That's why it's so intriguing to me now watching these guys and now the chance you get to go to Seattle to be a part of the draft. You saw the guys that were there.
That's
one
cool.
One of my homeboys, we were at a basketball camp because both of our kids were at this basketball camp in California. I met him. He's an agent. I saw him last night. I sent him a picture. I said, "You doing all right, bro? Got you some money in the room.
Seat,
money in the room." He was like, "Yeah, my player just went, and that's what it's all about." So it's fun to watch this, especially now when you look at it. Let's go back. And Danny Davis, shout out to Danny Davis, was the Austin American Statesman. He posted this. Recent UT pitchers drafted in the first 6 rounds. You look at Morgan Cooper. He was drafted in the 2nd round in 2017. Nick Kennedy in the 5th round in 2017. And Kyle Johnston in 2017 was drafted in the 6th round. Bryce Elder, 5th round to the Braves. We've already seen him in the big leagues. Mm-hmm. He's already doing his thing and made the All-Star game.
Yeah, he did.
Made the All-Star game. Drafted in 2020 in the 5th round. Ty Madden, 1st rounder out in Detroit in 2021. Pete Hansen in the 3rd round by the Cardinals last year. And now Lucas Gordon in the 6th round. So Texas is still producing those top-line pitchers that are going to have an opportunity to pitch at the next level. But just think about it. There may be some more guys that are going to be coming through here that's going to have those opportunities as well. The development part of it is something that is very, very important.
Oh, yeah.
LeBaron Johnson was the one. I thought for sure he would have been off the board already. I thought for sure because, to me, he had the most upside on the pitching staff because he's still learning how to throw strikes.
Yeah.
And if you can control that with that splitter and that changeup, that slider that he's throwing, and then you top that with that fastball, my man's got a chance. Yeah, he got a chance to do some major stuff. That's why I'm shocked that he hadn't been taken off the board yet.
You brought up Danny Davis, had a great stat. Here's another one for you at _ Danny Davis. He's doing a really good job following Texas baseball, putting out some nuggets. Said Texas pitching faced 4 first-round bats in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Cruz, Troy, Bradfield, and Taylor. They went 5 of 31 with 7 walks, 4 runs scored, and 2 RBIs against the Longhorns.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good.
That's pretty damn good.
That's not bad, man, when you're going up against high-end talent like that.
No doubt.
So Texas baseball getting some good news. Go ahead.
Shout out to Ivan Melendez as well. He just got promoted to AA. He's been wrecking A-ball. Now he's been promoted to AA, and he's going to Amarillo, Texas. So if you want to go up there and watch him, he's going and play for the Amarillo Sod Poodles.
Hold up. A sod poodle?
It's like a prairie dog. You know what a prairie dog is?
I know what a prairie dog is.
Yeah, that's what a sod poodle is.
That's what a sod poodle is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I've never heard
I've got
of
a
that
hat, too. I'll wear it up here tomorrow.
You got a sod poodle hat?
Yeah, because I used to play in Amarillo. I played in Amarillo at the Dilla Villa.
You should tell Craig about that. Craig loves random mascots.
Oh, I'm sure Craig
He's
already knows because he finds those,
random
especially because now it's
mascots.
Ivan Melendez. I'm sure he knows.
Do
all
they
about
still
that.
call him the Hispanic Titanic up there?
El Rey? They still playing El Rey for him when he comes up to the plate.
They got to keep that name, man.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic nickname. You cannot lose the Hispanic Titanic.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I just like saying it.
No, yeah, I know. That's right.
It's great. All right, so there you go. A little Major League Texas / Major League Baseball update there. So congrats to the guys who were getting drafted. Real quick, Texas basketball, gentlemen. Texas basketball got some good news as well. Coach Rodney Terry, the man is working hard. Can't say the man ain't grinding. The roster is full now. Slots taken. Done. Seats taken. Texas basketball got another commitment from Devin Pryor. He is a two-way wing, small forward, 6'7", around 180. Chose Texas. Was originally actually committed to LSU. Actually, that was on June 17th. Decommitted from them, and Texas offered him June 28th. It did not take long for this thing to materialize. Chose Texas over Texas A&M, Penn State, Colorado, TCU, and Virginia Tech. And he was actually offered as a member of the 2024 class, and then he reclassified. Texas wasn't aware that he was going to reclassified, and then became a member of the 2023 class as well. He's actually an H-Town kid, I believe.
Yeah, he is.
H-Town kid,
Yep.
yeah. Dad from Shreveport. My mama actually lives right outside Shreveport. So he's got some boing-yoings.
Oh, yeah, he bouncy.
Yeah,
He's
is, man.
bouncy.
He's twitchy and bouncy. Got a lot of quickness, verticality, agility. So he's going to be a part of that 2023 class. So it looks like Ronnie Terry filled it up pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
Didn't take long.
Yeah, a lot of people questioning Coach Terry. I remember the Specs text line being lit up. This guy, I don't know why Texas did that. They shouldn't have gone. They could have went out and got anybody. Why would they not? No, come on, dog. Come on. That's why. That man can recruit, and he's letting you know that. You panic too quick. Just let everything play out. He's gone out there, got a lot of players that returned, and that's a big gift for him. And again, the players that decided that they weren't going to come to the University of Texas, it's not like they were going to another school.
Yeah.
They didn't want to play school. They're going to the NBA, the G Leagues to get paid and to be a part of something so they don't have to do that. And all they have to do is work on basketball. When you have those abilities, do it. If you have that type of talent and you're offered this and you truly don't want to go to school, regardless of all the glitz and the glamour, if you got a chance to go make money and play in a league to where they already know that the rule is dumb for the one and dones, that's a dumb rule. If they can go and get money, let them go get the money. If they can get drafted, if a team wants to take a chance on a player and draft them, let them do it.
Well, and I think the bigger thing to take away from Ron Holland going forward is that they scouted extremely well in this department.
Yes, they did.
That they scouted a guy that was not ranked at that level and has climbed in everybody else's ranking. So I think if you look at it in that sense and you go, okay, well, this organization has a better knack for scouting, and so maybe some of these guys are looking at that are 3 stars or 4 stars, they may see them as something bigger in the future, and they're seeing the same thing they saw in Ron Holland, that is now a consensus top 3 pick in the NBA draft next year. So I think that's something positive you can take out of it. Is it sucks to lose the player, but if you realize your scouting is ahead of the game, that's a good thing.
That's a great thing, actually. I'll ask you, Patrick, do you think the ceiling of this team is higher than last year's or as high as last year's?
I think I would say the ceiling I think it's as high because you're basically last year you could play for a national championship. That was the ceiling.
It was kind of the ceiling.
So it's not where you expect. I think the expectations may be a little bit lower. I think the ceiling is about the same. The expectations may be a little bit lower because you don't have
the guys that play together.
Yes, you don't have the same cohesiveness enough.
Yeah.
We haven't seen what Max Asmus does against better competition. But, I think the ceiling, we can say, before we see any games played, is still this is a team that could compete at that high level.
And he's a bucket. I think Max Asmus
No,
is
he is.
a bucket.
He is a bucket. And that's the question is, can he stay on the court? Can he play? Can he not get in foul trouble? Can he do just small things that you don't necessarily think of but become major problems when you step up in a division of play?
Yeah, no, it filled up quick. I just think Longhorn fans were a little uncomfortable with the new kind of wave of roster construction in the portal NIL era. It's going to be like this often where you're just going to have a ton of turnover and you're going to build it back up and reconstruct it every offseason. And you can afford to do that when you're Texas. Now, it won't happen like that every year, but most of the time you'll see some of those instances in the portal era. Okay, well, enough Texas basketball conversation. We come back because we're late for the break. We come back, we'll get into Texas football. Xavier Worthy getting a lot of love. Someone there's a report that he has never looked this good. This is the best he's ever looked.
Oh, no hyperbole, is it?
X gonna give it to you. So we're gonna talk about that on the other side. Also, I'll tell you about my favorite defensive back going into this season. So we'll talk about the best wideout for the Longhorns and who I think is their best DB going into this upcoming season. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful, another one. All right, welcome back. Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Okay, let's get to some Texas football discussion here, gentlemen, because I saw this story. Shout out to, I believe Anwar Richardson's the one that had the initial report about Xavier Worthy, or at least I got it from Hook'em Headlines, but they got it from Anwar Richardson. And turns out he's, based on the sources that he's talked to, Anwar knows his stuff. He's saying that his sources are telling him that Xavier Worthy is having, or at least looks like he's having the best, or on the verge of having the best offseason that he's had since he's been with the Longhorns, and that he basically could be a record-breaking season for Xavier Worthy. It says definitely the best version of him that we've seen since he's been here. And that same source told Anwar that Worthy will break records this fall if he and redshirt sophomore quarterback Quinn Ewers can stay healthy.
Okay, does this go back to the conversation that we were having before when Josh Pate was talking about Worthy and the Heisman Trophy odds?
Well, it
kind of goes to that. If he's going to break records, if he's going to break records.
A lot of people are high on Xavier Worthy this year. Yeah, it kind of goes to that. I mean, maybe he's hearing the same thing.
Okay,
he's got sources. Maybe he's hearing the same thing. And I put it to that point. If we're just gonna talk about that Josh Pate article, remember, and this is from not a couple of weeks ago. This was from like last week. It's actually from the 4th. So this was July 4th, actually, when this was tweeted out. BetMGM, when they put out their Heisman favorites, they had Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, the LSU quarterback, and Quinn Ewers as their 3 Heisman favorites. Caleb Williams plus 500, Jaden Daniels plus 900, Quinn Ewers plus 1,000. But when you look at highest handle percentage, which is the amount wagered by bettors, Xavier Worthy had the second highest handle percentage bet on Heisman favorites at BetMGM. Quinn Ewers had the most at 15%, and Xavier Worthy was at 12.3%. So a lot of people are high on Xavier Worthy having a really good year this year, and I am too. I do think there's so many weapons that the Longhorns have offensively, especially in the passing game, whether it be Xavier Worthy, JT Sanders, another one of those guys, of course. You're talking about Jay Witt, who is another great weapon that they can throw to, and, they just brought in A.D. Mitchell. So it's basically, it's a mathematical equation the defense cannot solve because they can't double X-Man, double JT Sanders, and double the rest of the guys, right? They're just going to be at a numerical disadvantage. So they got to pick and choose who they're going to double and who they're going to roll coverage to and on what given plays. And Xavier Worthy's going to get a lot of attention. The good thing is Sark knows how to hide and scheme Xavier Worthy open. He's done a really good job of that. Problem was last year you just had, a regression that no one expected. That's just, and he was still pretty productive. Among all the receivers who are returning, I believe he has the most touchdowns and receiving yards among the returning receivers in the last 2 years, among the returning receivers. So he's really productive. But last season, of the 30 most targeted FBS wide receivers, he had the 3rd lowest completion percentage when targeted, 53%. He had the lowest receiving yards of that group, 3rd lowest yards per target of that group, and the fewest receiving yards per game of that group. And this was because he was taking on 2 roles. The reason he will be more productive this year is not necessarily because he's having a great offseason. That's great. That will contribute to it. But the biggest reason is because he won't be typecast into being the deep threat and being the featured wide receiver.
Right.
Because in Sark's offense, it really hurt. You can't be both. He needs a deep threat because we know he's obsessed. Give me that deep ball, baby. I need that deep ball, baby. He's going to get that deep ball. He's going to throw that deep ball. He's already told you, I'm throwing the deep ball, and we're going to throw it.
I don't care who knows.
I don't care who knows. And you know what? Exactly. If we don't complete it, I'm going to keep throwing that damn deep ball. He's going to do it. He's stubborn about it. We get it. It's a featured concept within his offense. But last year when they lost Isaiah Nayor, a guy who, by the way, had 12 touchdowns before coming to Texas in a season, so he's pretty productive. He was going to be the deep threat. They lost that deep threat, and then they tried to put Xavier Worthy in that role to be the deep threat and also be the featured wide receiver, and it just led to regression. He became typecast, and really, he doesn't need to be in that role as just the deep threat. And how often they throw it to Xavier Worthy deep and he was double covered or the safety was rolling over there. It made him easier to defend because he was typecast.
Right.
Right? What happens when somebody's typecast? You know exactly what type of character they're going to play. right?
Yeah.
You know what type of character Jason Statham is going to play. You know who The Rock is going to be in the movie, right? Everybody knows these characters, they're typecast. And sometimes that typecast, it'll lead you to being essentially as a talent, all right? It'll lead you to being something where you are not allowed to expand your skill set and explore your skill set. And Xavier Worthy needs to be featured in different ways. Sometimes that can be as a deep shot guy, but not necessarily that to be his sole specific role. And they tried to feature him a lot last year too, but he was trying to play two parts within the offense.
Right.
And I think that really hurt him. This year, he won't have to do that. A.D. Mitchell can be the deep threat. Jonte Cook can be the deep threat. Isaiah Nayor can be the deep threat. You got a lot of different guys that can play the role of being the deep threat now.
You got more options.
And he can just be the featured wide receiver.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's the biggest part. Schematically, conceptually, why he'll be a lot more productive this year and why you had the regression last year. Okay, let's talk about Jahdae Barron real quick. I found a stat about Jahdae Barron that was it really did surprise me. So I went deep diving down the rabbit hole. He's my favorite DB for the Texas Longhorns right now.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Rod.
He's my favorite DB. And I know Jalen Catalon's coming. I haven't watched Jalen Catalon as a Longhorn DB, so I won't include him just yet, but he is a star. And that guy's going to play on Sundays. But right now, my favorite DB is Jahdae Barron. Now, I'll give you some stats about Jahdae Barron, which are just freakish. So I don't think people realize he had 11 and a half tackles for loss last year.
11 and a half.
11 and a half tackles for loss. He led the team in tackles for loss.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy. I went back to try to find the last time a defensive back led the team in tackles for loss. And I got to tell you, I didn't find any. It's really tough. I went and looked back as far as I could go. I could not find one.
Mm-hmm.
I think he may be the first DB to ever lead Texas in tackles for loss, ever. Now, I can't, sometimes the records at Texas, they don't let me go as far back as I would like. Like, once you get back past, 1960, all right? Once you go before 1960, things get weird, all right? Things get strange.
Numbers are kind of screwed.
Yeah, they're inconsistent.
Yeah.
But based on my research, as far back as I was allowed to research, he's the first DB to ever lead Texas in tackles for loss. Now, 11 and a half tackles for loss. How many DBs have been able to get 11 and a half tackles for loss, period? Now, he led the team, but how many have been able to get 11 and a half tackles for loss in a season? I went back and looked because I went rabbit holing.
I knew you would.
So I found 5 DBs at Texas that have been able to get double-digit tackles for loss. I went to double digits. I stopped looking for 11 and a half. Went to double digits. This is why Huff Daddy, Michael Huff, is a beast. And he's a legend. Legendary lifetime Longhorn Michael Huff. He did it twice. He had double-digit tackles for loss as a DB twice. He did it in 02 and in 05. That's crazy. Ricky Churchman, member of DBU in 1978, did it. He had 11 and a half tackles for loss. That's as early back as I could go. So basically the last time a Texas DB had 11 and a half tackles for loss, at least 11 and a half tackles for loss that I found, Ricky Churchman, 1978. So we're talking about 45 years. So he's had the most tackles for loss for a DB in 45 years. And he's the first DB that I can remember that's led the team in tackles for loss.
But he didn't make all Big 12.
Yeah, but this is a Texas thing, so I
No,
get
but
that.
I'm saying, but
It's a Texas
the
thing.
the stats that you just gave, though, for what he's done, that warrants it.
It is, but it's like I said, that's all what Texas stats. So but I agree with you. I think he should be
Tackles
preseason.
for loss, being able to make big plays.
I think he'll end up being a first-team All-Big 12 player. But yeah, he did have a great season. 11 and a half tackles for loss, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, 3 PBUs. He had a fumble recovery to return for a touchdown, had an interception return for a touchdown. Just a playmaker. 78 total tackles. He was 4th on the team in tackles. I believe he has the potential to be a first-team All-Big 12 defender next year. But he's the 5th. I found 5 DBs with double-digit tackles for loss in Texas football history, and it's been done 6 times. So he was the 5th DB to do it, and it was his 6th time. And he's the first one to lead the team for my research in tackles for loss. And he's the first DB with at least 11 and a half tackles for loss since 1978, since before Rod B was born. Long time ago.
Yeah.
So, and what I think contributes to it for him is, and I've talked about this before, about players being, football investigators, right? You got to be a football investigator. Your pre-snap read also is going to give you clues and hints. All right, it's going to give you different clues and hints: the down, the distance, the formation, the personnel package, the field position, your player matchups, all your film study. Then you're looking at your situational tendencies, the play calling tendencies, the trends. You got about, I don't know, and Hard does this in baseball. You got about, 15 seconds maybe to gather all those clues and analyze them real time and try to come up with some type of conclusion that will narrow down the ways a pitcher or the ways a defense will try to attack you and how they're going to an offense will try to exploit you and how they're going to attack you. And I think based on the film that I've watched, out of all the players in the Texas secondary, the best football investigator in the secondary is Jahdae Barron. He's the best football investigator. He's like Monk. All right, he's great. He really is. He's got.
Right.
You can tell that he watches a lot of film, and more so than watching the film, because like I said, his pre-snap reads and diagnosis are really good. Analyzing all the clues, and then you should be able to narrow down the concepts and the schemes and how they're going to try to attack and exploit you. And once you narrow that down to maybe 3, 4 different options, whatever it may be, you have to then rely on your film study, all right, that gives you all of the kind of hints, the trends and the patterns that when they in 3rd and 6, when they line up in this formation, then they have a tendency to do this. Or the trends say that they're 70, 80% of the time they're going to run this route combination when they're in twins to the boundary when it's 3rd and medium. All right, and you're real time calculating all of those different odds on all those different clues. And the one thing, and I used to do this too, but the reason I wasn't as good as Jahdae Barron is because I did not have the confidence to always believe it. Once I diagnosed and was able to solve the case, all right, almost pre-snap. Once I figured out that that's about an 85% chance they're going to run a double slant here because it's twins into the boundary, it's 3rd and medium, and when I watch film, when it's 3rd and medium, twins to the boundary, they 3rd and medium, they run double slant 90% of the time. And I played with a guy, Nathan Vasher, who believed it every time. Every time. Because there's always a 10% chance you're wrong.
Right.
You're like, man, what if I'm wrong? If I'm wrong, they go to the house or, it could be a touchdown.
Can't miss that one.
And then you're like, man, is it worth the risk? And for some guys, it's not. For me, it wasn't. I would always play the upfield shoulder, and I would even get the satisfaction of knowing, okay, I did diagnose it correctly, but I didn't take the ultimate risk to go pick it off and take it to the house. But honestly, as a DB coach, I'll tell all of my young DBs, take the risk. Because every DB is going to get beat. Every one of them gets beat. The great ones, they make more plays than they give up. And so don't worry about getting beat. I almost played with a fear-based mindset of, all right, I can't give up that play, instead of going to make that play. If you diagnose all the clues and the hints and you know exactly how they're trying to attack you and what they're trying to do to exploit you, don't play with a fear-based mindset where you're trying not to give up the play. I'm playing to stop things from happening. No. Go play to make things happen.
Yeah.
Don't be playing to stop the offense from getting a first down or to prevent the offense from getting a first down or prevent the catch. No. Go make the play. You go make the catch.
Go make the play.
That's my Nasty Nate had that in 8. I mean, no pun intended.
I was like,
He was, but he naturally, that's why he's the all-time leader in interceptions at Texas. He didn't think twice. Once the film study was confirmed in his mind, I'm gone.
Oh.
I'm gone. I'm going to make that damn play. It's my ball. I'm making the play.
Y'all had a lot of fun like that.
He did. But like I said, I know myself as a player. I didn't play like that. I played like some more like, no, I ain't giving up the big play. And Jahdae Barron, he reminds me of those guys who believes his film study. He believes the pre-snap diagnosis. And that's why he jumps those wide receiver screens so quickly. That's why he got those tackles for loss, because they really, most of them, they can't believe that he's there so fast. Next year, they will run wide receiver screen and go. They will run hitch and go. They will run slant and go. You got to double move this kid just to try to make him a little less fearless, to try to plant the seed of doubt in his mind, because he has no doubt. He doesn't play with it. And that's what I love about his game. He is a great football investigator, but he plays with no fear. And I would say body language doesn't whisper, it screams. And he's great at reading body language, too, of receivers. And I think a lot of that is, like I say, I think it's natural.
Right.
For him. So, there you go. That's my Jahdae Barron piece. Love piece real quick.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet Jahdae Barron at a basketball game one time, at a kids' basketball game. And I was looking at him, I'm like, bro, you are a playmaker.
He
said, that's all I can do.
He's a baller, man.
And let's not forget, we flipped him at the last second. Texas flipped him at the last second. Don't forget, he was supposed to be a Baylor Bear.
Matt Rule recruit.
Yeah.
Matt
and when
Rule.
they made the coaching change, he decided, you know what? I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to stay here. And I'm so thankful that he did decide to come to the University of Texas.
Yeah, I think he may be the most instinctive DB in that backfield right now. All right, we come back. We got to talk about the details from the Alabama baseball
coach.
Scandal?
Remember, earlier in the summer, a coach got fired for the head baseball coach from Alabama got fired because there was a wager that was placed. Well, there's details now on the wager, and it is unbelievable. Shout out to CB for getting that to us, but man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah, this stuff sounds like it sounds like some out of an Onion article, like it would be fake news. It is not. It
well,
is
I got
real.
some real news for you too. Northwestern head coach Pat Fitzgerald has now been fired.
Whoa!
He is gone now.
Okay.
Went
All right.
from a little mistake to, no, man, you gone.
Okay. We're talking college sports scandals
Exactly.
on the other side. Right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. We all love the city of Austin. What a beautiful city, but one part of the beauty, one reason for that beauty is the skilled craftsmanship of ironworkers, local Union 482. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935. As our city continues to grow and thrive, so do our good friends at Ironworkers Local 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. So if you're looking for an exciting new career and you want something new, something fresh, something that will challenge you, you can become a valued member of this prestigious organization, Ironworkers Local 482, and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. I had a friend of mine came in town and asked me, hey, I know about anybody looking for work, and he know about job openings, job opportunities. I said, you actually might be in luck. Our good friends at Ironworkers Local Union 482 are hiring 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas, and you can become a valued member of this organization and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. Maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick the Idillionaire takes songs intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who may have had a tough weekend. And if you had a tough weekend, my man Patrick's here to give you some upbeat jams to lift your spirits on a Smooth Soul Monday. All right, Harge, there's multiple scandals that must be addressed here, so we won't have time to hit all of them. The Alabama baseball scandal that got the coach fired has now there have been some new details.
There's definitely
been revealed about this story. Can you fill us in, brother?
Yeah,
please?
let me give you the backstory. So there was a wager that was made in the middle of the season. It was on a college baseball game. Alabama was playing number 1 LSU that night.
Okay.
And the person that went out, his name was Bert Eugene Neff Jr., walked into a BetMGM sportsbook at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. And he walked in with a large amount of cash. Well, when you go in and when I say a large amount of cash, I mean over $100,000 that he was going to place a wager.
Where did he have the cash in?
In his hand. It looked like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, how did he carry that much cash?
Oh, you know he probably had a suitcase or something like that. He walked in with a bag.
Oh, wow.
You have to walk in with a bag. Dang. And so what ends up happening is he's going in and placed this wager of more than $100,000 on this game. And they're like, nobody ever bets on college baseball. Not only do they never bet on it, they never bet on it to that extent where you're coming in to put in that kind of money. Well, he goes out, and as he's doing this, he is basically the most arrogant bettor that is out there because he's texting with the coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide where he's asking if this guy is going to pitch or not. When he finds out that the starting pitcher, last name is Holman, who I played against his dad, Luke Holman, when they found out he was being pulled and not pitching in the game, that's when he decided, oh, this is the perfect time for me to place this bet. So he goes and places the bet, and as he's texting with the coach, he's left his phone open. And surveillance has already been tipped off because there's a guy coming in to make $100,000 on a college baseball game that probably has never had that amount that was ever placed on it.
So he is at the window with the phone, communicating while betting.
While betting.
Wow.
And so while this is going on, they said it was the most reckless part of the entire investigation was how he thought he could just walk in there, place a bet, and no one's going to be triggered by it. I don't care who you are. When you place a $100,000 bet, people are paying attention to you.
Six-figure bets are rare in on any sport anywhere in the country, probably in the world.
Right.
They're so rare, you probably can flag all of them, and you know what I mean, and naturally, and be able to figure out if something shady is going on with them type of bets.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
And then he finds out that the pitcher, Hagan Banks, hadn't started a game since mid-March, and he was going to be the starting pitcher going against the number 1 team in the nation. So he was like, "Let me put a $100,000 on LSU."
Bro, 100,000.
Yeah.
You couldn't split the bets. I guess he can't because he was trying to.
Or he could have brought some other people with him.
Yeah, you got to bring more people. You got to bring somebody else in on the scam.
Exactly,
man. You can't do it
you
on
can't
your
do
own,
a solo dolo because you're already creating a buzz about you because you're coming in. And by the way, I think they said he's a youth coach.
Youth baseball coach.
Youth baseball coach in Ohio.
No, Texas says sketchy, but not illegal. No, not illegal. But if you are trying to get inside information, which is against the NCAA bylaws on gambling and student athletes and betting and all that kind of stuff, then you are doing something shady. It may not be illegal, may go to jail, but you're doing something shady.
I got some more stuff for you that's even more shady.
And Uncle Sam wants to have a talk with you about that cash you got.
Where that $100,000 come from?
I guarantee Uncle Sam's like, yo, I need to see. I need to know where you got that cash from.
Yeah.
And where was it generated? I need to know that.
Hey, and also tell you, casinos not always caring about the law.
Exactly.
Yeah, so sometimes you better be arrested than deal with the casino.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Learn that from the movie Casino.
And here's some more. Here's some more information. Neff's wagers, and this is from a report by Pat Forty on SI.com. Neff's wagers were not the only suspicious bets that were placed on that Alabama LSU game. On the same day that Neff was attempting to bet six figures in Cincinnati, some of his gambling associates were trying to place large wagers at a location in the home state of Indiana. Those wagers,
Bama?
yes, those wagers were also under investigation.
They all got flags.
This is even better. Neff's son, Andrew, is a pitcher at the University of Cincinnati. Two Bearcat staffers, assistant Kyle Sprague and operations director Andy Nagel, were terminated on May 17th. Their exact offense is not clear, but two people familiar with the situation say that they were aware of Neff's gambling activity, which the men did not report to the school administration. So the school launched an internal review on May the 8th and publicly acknowledged the dismissal of those two on May the 24th. And the head coach of Cincinnati, Scott Coggins, resigned May 31st as well.
Deeper you go down the rabbit hole.
I will say, Bert Eugene Neff Jr. is a solid parent yelling your full name.
What is his full name?
Bert Eugene Neff Jr. You come down here right now.
Right now.
That still goes to my shady name theory. That's a shady name. Was it Bert Eugene Neff?
Neff Jr.
Oh, that's a shady name.
There's multiple Bert Eugene Neffs.
Yeah.
Bert Eugene, Neff?
Yeah.
Neff.
Oh, that is
Bert
so shady.
Eugene
Don't
Neff.
ever give your money to somebody with Bert Eugene Neff is their name.
Junior.
Junior, exactly. Even shadier. It's like Lloyd Lake and Michael Michaels, who I believe were they're the center of the Reggie Bush scandal, wasn't it? Lloyd Lake and Michael Michaels. I'm like, of course those guys are shady. Look at their names. Lloyd Lake and Michael Michaels. Somebody made them up or something. All right, there you go. We'll have another breakdown about another scandal in college sports. It's time about hazing, and it looks like Pat Fitzgerald, the Northwestern head football coach, is out. We'll discuss that, and we'll discuss Wemby's debut in the Summer League as well, right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104 down the horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when the Idillionaire Patrick Davis plays jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans out there who may have had a tough weekend. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know Spurs fans had a damn good weekend because they got to see their prize, Wembanyama, the new face of the baby face of the franchise at 19 years old, have a thrilling second showing in the Summer League debut. We'll talk about that and get into it. Also hear from Wembanyama. Also, Greg Popovich signs a 5-year deal. We'll discuss that as well. And the NBA in-season tournament. We have details now about how this in-season tournament is going to go. And Patrick could not be more disgusted with this in-season tournament as a true basketball fan.
Might be a bit of hyperbole, but
every time we bring it up, you're like, I don't like that. Yeah, you always got to groan, but yes. So we'll get into it because I think, listen, it's better than what's happening right now. Can we agree with that?
Yep.
In the NBA, like it's better than the pre-Christmas NBA season as is.
No, it's the exact same. There's zero difference.
Well, then in-season tournament's
it's literally a thing to make the players some money and to make Vegas a lot of money in gambling.
That's it.
It has no
though.
No one is going to tune into this.
You can't say
there is no incentive.
Well, now, the result may be the same. I'm saying the product is different.
The product's slightly different.
Yeah, that's what they tweak the list. It's like when a new iPhone comes out. It's the same damn iPhone.
I think
they added a camera onto it.
But it doesn't seem like it
They
really.
added another camera. Like, I got 5 cameras now.
Hey, look, we'll see because it's all for casual viewers, right?
Yes, it's for. That's my point. It's for us. It's not for you.
What are you going to watch?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, no.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
There's no incentive for fans in this. The incentive is the players make some extra money. What's one of the biggest grief people have with the NBA is the players make too much money. So it's not like
too much money. They don't play enough.
And that's it. But
That's
they're not
the
going to
biggest
play.
thing for me.
They make too much money. They don't play
in
enough.
this.
Yeah,
they're going to sit it out.
That's the big load. Listen, your biggest issue is still your biggest issue, which is load management during the because a lot of people don't want to watch the games because the players don't play hard. And even when they are playing, which is rare, they don't play hard all the time.
Yeah.
So
here
I
thought that they had teams that they already said were going to be playing in it.
yeah, they do. Okay, you
Every
know what?
team's in it.
Now that we're talking about it,
Yeah,
let's
that's
get
what
into
I'm
it.
saying.
Here,
Every single team's in it.
Here's the breakdown.
So you got to play the games.
Here's the breakdown to it. Since we're talking about it, you might as well just dive into it.
Yeah, I need that.
Patrick's gonna hate this conversation.
I need it for Patrick.
So, guys, all 30 teams were split into 6 groups based on the random lottery from last year's records from last season. Every group member is going to play each other. All right, they're going to play each other one time. All right, there, and it's going to be 2 on the road and 2 at home. And then the best group play record from the 6 groups. We'll break down 30 teams into 6 groups. So you'll have 6 teams who have the best records from those 6 groups, and then they have 2 wild card teams who I think the second best record from each conference. So you have 8 teams, and then those 8 teams will go to Vegas for the semifinals. Last 4 teams go to Vegas. So they'll play 8 single elimination. Then those 4 teams from that 8, they go to Vegas for the semifinals, and then the 2 teams will play in the championship for the NBA Cup in-season tournament championship. Yeah. The West Group A is Memphis, Phoenix, LA, Lakers, Utah, Portland. West Group B, Denver, LA Clippers, New Orleans, Dallas, Houston. West Group C, Sacramento, Golden State, Minnesota, Oklahoma City, and San Antonio. East Group A, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Atlanta, Indiana, Detroit. East Group B, Milwaukee, New York, Miami, Washington, and Charlotte. East Group C, Boston, Brooklyn, Toronto, Chicago, and Orlando. There you go.
I'm excited about it.
And there's money to incentivize them, too. Patrick brought up. I think players on standard NBA contracts whose team make the knockout stage will get a bonus $500,000 each for players on the winning team, $200,000 each for the runners-up, $100,000 each for players on the 2 teams that lose in the semifinal games, and $50,000 for each of those on the teams that fall in the first round of knockout stage. So a little bit of money, but for those guys, that's pocket. It literally is pocket change.
Yeah, no, it's for the good teams, pocket change. For the bad teams, it's good money.
Yeah.
Because those guys probably going to have 4 or 5 year careers. So if you say, hey, I need all the money I can get in this short amount of time, but that's the thing. This is going to be, I think, going to lead to more load management because basically no one's going to want to go into this, play the extra games.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to sit all your good players when you play these games, especially the road ones. I don't
bring up your G League players for this.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
even worse, though. We want to see stars.
Yes.
I love this. G League, great. I'm not hating on those guys, but we want to see stars. I want to see
But the
star
stars
power.
don't want to play.
This is going
that's my
back to the
point.
point.
This is my
that
point.
bring it up.
And this is, look, I get it, because, look, I'll watch it, and people go, we going to watch it? Of course, but I'm going to watch the regular season.
I'm like, you're watching Summer League right now.
There's no point. They don't want Patrick. The point is, they take you for granted. They already know they got
know,
your
but
money.
this is my
they
point.
know they got your money in eyeballs.
But my point is, does anyone care about who wins the Summer League? Does it? You know they got rings in Portland last year for winning the Summer League?
No, I don't care who
They
wins
got,
some league.
but that's my point. They got them
Rings.
rings. You know what? Those guys got rings. Great for them. Have a fun time. Does anyone else care?
No.
This is what the midseason tournament's going to be. The midseason tournament is going to be an elevated version of Summer League, where it's like, cool, you won that. Here's a trophy. Put it somewhere, and we're all going to laugh about it because you're going to be a joke unless a real contending of a team wins it. Then the talking point could be, oh, then now they're on the way.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's going to happen because I think
No.
you're not going to want to
Well,
play the extra games.
I agree. I think
You're not going to want to travel to Vegas.
the contending team, there needs to be more incentive for a team that's contending for a championship, because you're right, for them it doesn't matter. It's like, why do I give a damn about this tournament? I'm trying to win a championship. So there's no incentive for a team to prioritize
For
it. I
a
get
coach to go, you know what I really want mid-season? All my team to go to the place that's the easiest to get in trouble in the U.S. I'd like to take all my team there for a week.
Out to Vegas.
I'd like to take my whole team to a place where everybody, or I could give them a day off and they get in trouble, but they'll get in trouble at home where we can cover it up. But I get it. You just need to have something that's an incentive for like they did the whole unveiling of the trophy, and you even saw the players be like, "Oh, it looks like all the other trophies."
when they renamed everything.
Yeah.
Like, named
But it's just like looks like all the other
Namesakes,
trophies.
No, listen, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. I'll just say this: give Adam Silver credit, because he's got to do something. Because right now the narrative is nobody cares, including players, about pre-Christmas NBA.
Yeah.
Like, just nobody gives a damn about it. So I'm not saying this is going to work. I'm not saying
Make
it's
it
going to work.
affect dollars. Make the people that don't play somehow. If you're not going out there, and I agree, a lot
That's
of
a
people don't
different
care.
discussion in NCAA. You're talking about load management discussion. That's a different issue.
Well,
which
I'm
the
just
NBA
talking
cannot
about
conquer.
period about the money situation. So if you're not playing, just like the NBA awards, if you don't play a certain amount of games,
Yeah.
you can't get this amount of money, and you won't be named to an All-Star game, or I mean, not an All-Star, but an All-Pro
All-NBA team.
It costs you money.
Yeah.
Like you can't go for a max. You can't do that. I think that they should not incentivize it, but make it part of the stipulation.
Well, but
They
I'll put it
could,
this way.
but
I think if you give the team an incentive, not the players, the team an incentive, then it forces the team to try and make players play and do all this other stuff, because then you're pushing it back to owners
Yes.
having to do what they want to do. So I think when you like this stuff, if you win the like the reason they did this is because, and the reason they're doing it in Vegas is it gives you a lot of new things to gamble on. You can do futures now for mid-season tournament. You can have all those futures you can start betting on. They're gonna make millions of dollars on that. You can do tons of stuff for betting. It's gonna be in Vegas. They're gonna try and make it another con to get everybody down there and gamble. Plus, if we're selling TV rights, they want another special thing that they can add in the TV rights, because Christmas Day now gets a little messed up because
NFL wants it. Yeah.
NFL's starting to get into it.
They want it.
So I get what it is, but if you say, "Hey, here's an extra draft pick. Here's some like
Trade
just a
exceptions.
trade exception,
Yeah.
some incentive that fans will go, oh, wait a minute, like this actually helps our team.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this helps my team, not the players, not whoever that I'm worried that they're going to demand a trade in 2 weeks that they made extra, or not a guy that's not going to be on my team next year, and not like I want them all to do well, but as a fan, that's not. They're not my number one concern. The team is.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They did not incentivize the team. They tried to incentivize players, but I don't think they did it enough.
They didn't incentivize stars. They
Yeah.
incentivized lower level players.
I know, because they can incentivize the stars, because there's not a ton of, like, what are you going to do? Give them, how much more money can you give the stars that will incentivize them, other than saying, all right, we'll give you $15 million if you win this. Like, those guys
No,
have to
but
do it, so money's not going to work for them.
if you say, hey, we're going to give you another first round pick.
Yeah, but
and
that's for the team, but not for the players.
And then the owners come down to the players and the coach, and they say, everyone's playing in these games. We need that first round pick. The general manager, everyone says, we need that. So we're playing in this. We are something we need to play for.
I
Because
agree,
we need that
but
first round pick. So then the players have to play because they're contractually obligated to play those games.
Yeah, but this is a players' league, and the players run this league.
There's really one team where the players are choosing to sit out, and that's the Clippers. Everywhere else, like the Spurs, they tell players to sit out. Wembanyama didn't shut himself down. Spurs shut him down in Summer League.
Yep.
The coaches want to shut down the players because they understand it's the best way to win a championship. However, if you choose to sit him down in other places and not in a mid-season tournament that wants to be this big thing, and you make that the best players and everybody playing then you can make that a better event. But right now, I just don't see why it's going to be anything other than, oh, well, I guess we got to kind of break in the middle of the season where all the good teams are sitting out, and we got to see these guys played out.
I don't
just
disagree with that, but you
otherwise.
had to do something. Like, you
I
have
agree.
to
I
do
just
something.
don't-
You got to give Adam Silver credit. Because what else? What's the alternative? Give me a better alternative.
Put something valuable on the line for this.
But yeah, you're saying you agree with the in-season tournament, just you don't agree with the incentive for
I
it,
mean, but I don't-
right? The way they're incentivized. So you're saying it should change the incentive. That's different. I'm saying the in-season tournament is not a terrible idea to try to generate some interest. If people will bet more money, the studies show people who bet more watch more sports.
Yes.
If you're going to bet more on yourself, they watch. That's why people watch the March Madness. Nobody gives a damn about college basketball for 11 months
That's
out of the
true,
year.
that's
They
true.
care for 1 month. Why is it 1
Boy,
month?
it's
Because
a-
everybody's got a
yeah.
bracket, and
Yep.
everybody's mama and grandma. I'm gonna pick somebody in the tournament. So that's what
I
he's
love
trying
their
to create.
uniforms.
Yeah, he's trying to create a little bit of that. So I'm not.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying it's gonna work, but I do appreciate that he's trying to do something because right now, pre-Christmas NBA is. I mean, it's a wasteland. Like nobody gives a. We don't even talk about it.
No, I get it. I mean, but it's because it's the same as pre-All-Star break MLB. And then you go, well, hey man, there's still other things going on right now. And then once we get past all that other stuff, we'll start tuning in.
Basically, past the NFL season, we'll
Yeah.
tune in, and he's trying to steal a couple of headlines and days from the NFL sports calendar, which, by the way, they dominate.
I'm trying to get tickets right now to see if I can go to that tournament.
Oh, in
'Cause it's
Vegas?
Vegas.
And
I
that's probably that's why he's linking to Vegas too, which is pretty
Yeah.
smart. That
And why? Because there also might get a NBA team in Las Vegas
Very
coming
true.
up pretty soon.
Yeah.
too.
That's
true.
Trying to see what the interest
Yeah.
is. He saw what it was when Wemby came in town.
now you're getting a lot of support,
Yeah.
Patrick, for your idea. They should just change the incentive. So what if first place gets a first round pick, second place gets an extra second, and third place gets a third? That does sound like
Yes.
it's just easy.
It is. It tells you that this person's not an NBA fan because there is no third round in the NBA draft.
Ah,
But
yeah.
I agree. I think that there is a incentive, and even if it is, you get the 32nd pick in the first round or whatever, there's still incentive to have it because also then it makes the Stepien rule different. So if you're a competing team and right before the trade deadline you get another tradable asset because you can now trade next year's pick, there's reasons why stuff like that works. I think that there is a positive, and you're right. You have to do something, and betting on it will help do something.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. The whole, and I get you have to do this whole grandiose, it's going to be awesome thing. Or because you come out and just go, we're doing this thing. It's not going to sell. But every time I see it, everything comes out and they're so energetic. It sounds like used car salesmen.
Oh yeah, but they have to be excited about it. They have to be. Well,
I know, and it's
they're
just-
not. Nobody is going to be excited
Exactly.
about it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard for me to. And it's because Mike, I'll watch basketball. See, I don't see how this is anything. And maybe they're thinking too, in 20 years this will mean something.
It could take off and be in something different.
I doubt it'll be around in 20 years, but who knows?
No, I'm with you. I don't know.
We're gonna see how load management works, how Adam Silver is able to basically try his hardest to force teams. And I think one of the things they're gonna do basically is they have that new TV deal coming up, and so the NBA is really relying on that new NBA deal with the new CBA and everything to raise the salary cap a bit.
It will.
Yeah.
And that's the deal.
And
so I think
and gambling revenue.
So I
will.
think Adam Silver is going to be going to all the teams and basically telling them, hey, if you guys want to make more money in the future, like real money, you need to play in this tournament. We need to get the biggest ratings we can get because if we now sell this as part of our thing, even if it's only for one season, when we get the new TV deal, this will be part of it.
Yeah. No.
So I think that's going to be his where he's trying to talk to, governors, not owners, governors
gonna
of
say,
these teams.
You're right.
Brilliant student
I
athlete.
do think it's like I said, it is a bit of desperation by Adam Silver. No disagreement with that. Kind of taken from the Euro soccer model. But he does. That's why I like Adam Silver. At least he's a man of action. He's been talking about this for a little while too. He's been putting it out there to try to gauge the reaction from the fans and the media about it. I think they'll try it for a couple of years. I don't know if it'll work, but it is his way of just trying to stay somewhat relevant pre-Christmas during those years where basically, not years, but the months, where the NFL owns the sports calendar.
I was just
which
about to
is-
say, so does college football too. I mean,
Yeah,
you're not even
September-
going to be dialed
No.
in there.
September, October, November, December, basically January, and now in February, most of it too, because now they've added another week to the NFL season. So now they're right up there with basically right up there with what Valentine's Day is right around where the season ends now. So you're talking about that is a full basically 6 months that the NFL owns out of the year. And if you're the NBA, you own what? a month and a half, 2 months in an NBA playoffs. You own
Yeah,
that? Was
up
it
until
April and May?
And wait, it goes middle of June. Really?
Is it? So like
Yeah.
April, May, and then some of June.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one of the biggest things as a fan of the sport that I want to, like, you really need this baseball needs to address it too. If you want to compete anything with football, you have to make your games more watchable for local teams. That it costs a ton of money to try and watch your local team in most markets because you have to get the most expensive provider in any area to be your provider to get the channels that these are on, because these channels don't make any money anymore. So basically, LA and New York make money on local streaming, on local TV. Everybody else, all those other stations are losing money. So they're all trying to get out of it. And it makes it, well, how am I supposed to care about the Astros? How am I supposed to care about the Spurs if I can't watch their games? I'm already paying for 8 streaming services.
Yep.
And now you want me to go and pay $150 a month for cable to get games? Like, that's a lot for me to pay for one thing when I've already got all the other stuff I'm watching on something else. So that as the stations are, because like Bally Sports is trying to figure out what they're going to do, but that's where the Spurs are. AT&T Sportsnet has basically declared bankruptcy. They don't know what they're going to do. That's where the Astros are. You have to figure this out, because one of the big benefits the NFL has is they're on CBS and Fox every week, and you can watch your team
Now
for free.
YouTube, though.
No, but that's the league pass.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that's Sunday ticket. That's extra.
Yeah.
So, but you can watch the Cowboys for free every week that they're not on ESPN or on Amazon. But every game you're basically watching, where there's less games you're not going to be able to watch, whereas every other sport you have to pay a lot of money to watch most of the games, which makes you not care until halfway through the season. So I just can't watch those games.
No, I mean, I agree. They got to solve that, and they got to figure. I mean, that's so complicated because of the local broadcast networks. I mean, the NFL is a machine. It's the number one television product in America. So the NFL doesn't even have the same issues as the NBA and Major League Baseball, because they don't have the same amount of content, because they don't play as many games.
Exactly.
Which makes it easier, and they're more coveted. So they're basically NFL just sits back and waits on people to call them. They don't have to go. Like Major Baseball and NBA are kind of like pitching their product to these local broadcast networks, saying, "Hey, man, you should pick this up. This would be good content for you. You can sell it." The NFL's like, basically, you know what? They are turning people away and turning broadcast networks where they say, "No, we'd rather our product be on this network. It's better for the brand."
Exactly.
So I agree with you. That's I don't know how they solve that issue right now on a local level.
That's
and they better do it before Wemby hits his stride, so we can all see Wemby.
I'll give Bally Sports credit. They at least at the end of the season had an option to just subscribe to Bally Sports. It was a little bit more expensive than I wanted to pay, but I think it was still $20 a month, and you get that, which is better than, cool, I have to get DirecTV, which is $120, $140 a month with this extended sports package.
Yeah.
So I got to pay for 500 channels I ain't going to use to get the one I want.
And it's so weird. You would think having more content in all these games would be better for all these sports networks that are pop up, but it actually hasn't been.
They're not thinking like that, though. That's the part of it. That's the frustrating part about it. They don't think like that.
Yeah.
They're just thinking about the dollar.
Well,
and
dollar bill, y'all.
Yeah.
Straight cash on
we love the dollar
which
bill.
is annoying, because I have MLB TV, I have NBA League Pass, you have all those, and you're just like, I still can't watch my team unless I pay for this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, that's the most frustrating part of, if you want people to be more interested, give them an ability to watch games that isn't going to become a massive financial burden to them.
I know, and this is the case that that Patrick is pleading, is the case of the diehard real NBA fans out there. And I do feel like Adam Silver and all commissioners, they take that group, that demo for granted, because they know Patrick's going to be there regardless. No matter what happens to the NBA, he's going to be there regardless. And they're trying their damnedest to go after the novice basketball fans and the ones who are not true NBA fans now. And that's part of what the in-season tournament is. So it is like, he's not, it's always what I said to people who are upset with, different politicians when they say stuff on Twitter or say something that they disagree with on some news network. And I always say, that politician isn't talking to you. You realize that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That you're not their audience. They're talking to their constituency. You heard it, and it pissed you off. But they're not talking to you.
Right.
They're talking to somebody else. And that person is receiving the message. So I think for Adam Silver, he's talking to people like me, who's not a real NBA fan, and saying, Robbie, just check it out. I'm like, I'll check it out.
But wouldn't you watch more NBA if it was easy? Like, if you were like, oh, I hit 2 buttons and I'm watching NBA.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Convenience
not
matters.
texting me
Yes.
and going, hey, how can I watch this game? And I go, well, you can sign up for these 3 platforms, or you can do this, or you can go to some other website that I don't endorse.
Yeah.
And
No, you're right.
But then
Convenience
if I have
matters.
to say that, then that's another way that you're going, that's a step in between to where someone goes, oh, that NBA, they're just out for your money. And it's not even them.
Totally agree.
It's just the
It's all
network that they signed a deal
the
with.
bureaucracy in between.
And
all
so,
that.
so that's something that I go, if you really want me to believe that you want me to watch basketball before Christmas, then tell me that there's a way that when my friend texts me and says, how can I watch the Spurs game tonight? My best answer is not
Turn
go
to
to the
this
bar.
channel.
Go to the bar. That's your best shot
Yeah.
because that's the only way you're going to be able to do it without breaking the bank.
Yeah, no, that's a good point there. I totally agree. Spurs fans are, speaking of breaking the bank, excited about the Spurs breaking the bank for Pop, who signed a 5-year, $80 million deal, making him the highest paid coach in NBA history. Spurs have had quite the summer. Talking about winning the NBA lottery, sold, 2,500 season tickets in one day after that. And then, of course, drafted Wemby. Finished their $550 million headquarters. Now they signed Pop to the richest contract in NBA history for a head coach. That comes on the heels of, obviously, Wemby's debut in the summer leagues. In his first game versus Charlotte, he had 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks, 3 assists. I thought he filled up the stat sheet pretty nicely, but he was 2 of 13 from the field, 1 of 6 from three-point range in those 27 minutes. But the second game versus Portland, gentlemen, he really showed out. 27 points and 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. He had a steal, went 9 of 14 from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point range, had 12 free throws, really showed how diverse his skill set is. And just watching him move and watching the way he moves as a 7'3" athlete on the basketball court, it is clear we've seen a lot of freakish X-Men on the basketball court in the NBA. He's got his own freakish elite X-Men athleticism that we've just never seen before.
Yeah, he's different. I mean, he is so different when you watch him play and the way he goes about his game and the effortless movements that he has, especially for a big dude.
Big man.
He's smooth. The ball handling skills was the most impressive part for me because of that. We expect him to be able to shoot. He's tall. But did you really look at the basketball in his hand?
I did.
You remember when we saw him with the baseball and how he covered it all the way up? The basketball looks like it's too small for him too. I mean, obviously it is. He's 7'5", but you looking at it, his hands are so big, it looks like it's awkward for him sometimes, the way that he has to hold the basketball. But he's going to be okay. Everybody was quick to run the judgment. Oh, my God, look at them. Oh, man, they waste. I'm like, be patient, man. Nobody really goes to the summer league, especially if you're a top pick, and goes out there and plays that great. They were showing highlights of some of the best games that rookies and overall number 1 picks had. They didn't play that great in the summer league.
Yeah.
That's not what they're there for.
Yeah.
No, I know Jalen Brunson posted, he was like, the worst basketball I played in the NBA was in summer league.
Exactly.
And Carmelo Anthony was like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like we all say, and if you watch the summer league, you will never watch more air balls in basketball than you do in summer league.
Yeah. People
It's
just
a lot of
throwing them up
guys
from wherever.
They're playing in different gyms. They're playing in different size. It's just a different experience for a lot of these guys. It's the first game you saw things out of him that you went, okay, defensively he will be able to play year 1. He'll be able to play good minutes defensively.
Yeah.
And so that was the main thing. And you go, offense can come, and offense is the easiest thing in the NBA to find guys that can do it. So you will find guys that'll have, and you go, we don't need him to be that guy year 1 if he doesn't have to be it.
That's true.
And then game 2 he comes out and goes, no, I can. And, it's summer league. So they fought back in that game, played solid defense down the stretch. They were basically out of the game the entire game and came back and got it down to 4 points and had a couple shots to go at it and lose a game, but it doesn't really matter. But it was to see, you could tell him, the competitor in him,
he came back stronger.
That
was
was like when he was down, he's like,
Yeah.
I do not like this.
Yeah, he wanted to bounce
I don't
back.
care. It's summer league. I do not like this.
Yeah.
Right.
So he played better, and his shots, like his 3-point shot, when he's sitting wide open for a 3, he is not having much luck. But when he's getting guarded and when the pressure's on,
In the
he
flow.
can hit it.
Yeah, in the flow.
And we hear that from guys. Robert Horry talked about, they're like, why are you so good at hitting clutch shots?
Not
and he's
thinking
like,
about it.
He goes, it's just the pressure. It's like the pressure makes it better. It makes it easier to do. It's just natural, and you just do it. That's what I think happened, where he just got in and went, okay, now I'm just playing basketball again, and I can enjoy it.
Yeah, because he talked about how the celebrity of the last month has been a little bit overwhelming for him. Hadn't played a lot of basketball and just wants to get back to getting in the weight room, working out, playing basketball. I thought he looked fantastic. He had 2 blocked 3-point shots. To me, that was kind of one of the freakier things I saw him do because he would close out, and you can tell defenders almost underestimated his length. When he was closing out.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's not just that he blocked the 3. It was that the guy didn't just immediately drive on him, that he's able to stay in front of a guy.
Yeah.
So, because normally a guy like that could block a shot, but you pump fake and you drive to the rim and the guy's in the 7th row.
Yep.
You can't, what he was able to do was stay in front of a guy, put his hand straight up, and then you go to drive and he moves with you, and then you take the 3. That was what was really impressive, was being able to stay with a small forward.
Yep.
And play out there. That was what I found really impressive.
Yeah, I think honestly he's gonna be a generational defensive player. And I think he's gonna be potentially all NBA defensive player, like his second year. Like he's gonna be that caliber
He's
defender.
freakish, yeah.
He had 5 blocks in the first game, and everybody's like, he's a scrub. I'm like, screw it, 5 blocks.
Yeah, the announcer did point out that they were like 5 blocks. They're like, that happened in 5% of games last year that someone had 5 blocks.
That's what I'm saying.
So
5-block game.
it's not exactly a common thing to get 5 blocks in a game.
That's what I thought. I was like, that's rare, but he is phenomenal, man. I can't wait to get him.
And I will say, if someone had to be, trying to put Wemby in his place, I was glad it was a former UT boy.
Jones?
Kai Jones had a really good game. It was good to see him do that because I'm a big fan of Kai Jones.
It's good for Wemby to get dunked on early. It's good to get dunked on. It's gonna happen to everybody. It's gonna happen to you. Can't avoid it.
Until
NBA.
He should have blocked that.
Until someone goes and talks to him and goes, hey, Wemby, there's plays you have to give up on.
Yeah.
Like, there's plays, don't be in the poster because they want to put you in that poster.
Oh, everybody's trying to body you.
They slowed it down. They put it to Britney Spears music.
Everybody put it to Britney Spears.
They put to Britney Spears.
My buddy texted me. My buddy texted me, and he goes, man, I didn't know Kai Jones was that close with Britney.
Exactly. I think it's good that Wemby got dunked on early, man. He's got I love his attitude, too, about everything. He admitted that he had kind of an off game in that first game, too, and you can tell he's a bounce-back guy, man. He's ready to show the world that he deserved he deserved all of the hoopla and all the hype.
I'm telling you, his personality is perfect for him to be the number 1 pick overall.
Totally
and I will give a quick note to any of you Spurs fans watching and wondering why Jabari Rice has not played in any of the games so far. That Coach Nielsen, who is coaching the Summer League team, has stated that he is dealing with a medical issue, and that was the end of the conversation. So I don't know if he will play. He was there.
I saw him.
He was on the sideline with the current Spurs players.
I saw him in the tunnel, I think,
Yeah, so he was with the current Spurs players, not on the Spurs bench. So he's there, but I don't know what the medical issue is. Hopefully he'll be fine. He has signed his 2-way deal, so he's good to go. But hopefully we'll see him now that Wemby is shut down. Maybe we'll get to see him come in. I hope so. But I've not heard anything other than a medical issue.
Interesting. Yeah, because hopefully everything's okay with Serge Jabari Rice. All right, thanks for the update there, Patrick. We come back, we'll get into the update on this latest scandal in college football. The hazing scandal at Northwestern has resulted in Pat Fitzgerald's ousting. He is done. He is out as the head coach at Northwestern. We'll talk about that on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful on the Horn.
Mike Harge here, and I want to talk to you, my friends, over at Quick Roofing. Sometimes this weather is kind of crazy, and you don't think about your roof enough. I've started thinking about it a lot more, and that is why I think you need to reach out to my friends over at Quick Roofing. Quick Roofing has been around for over 39 years, and the only way you can stay in business that long is because you take care of your customers and you have that great reputation of customer service. You get a free, no obligation inspection. You get Quick Roofing requires a project manager on every job site, ensuring that you, the customer, get everything that you were promised. Quick Roofing is fully insured and have all state and local licenses. Quick Roofing doesn't even require any money up front until 100% completion and, of course, 100% satisfaction. And with all that, you get a 7-year workmanship warranty. So what are you waiting for? Do yourself a favor and reach out and get a free inspection. Go to quickroofing.com today. That is quickroofing.com.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Oh, yeah. It's a jam right here.
The other band? No, the artist?
Oh, my God. Junior?
No.
No. I do know who it is.
Man, that is a good question.
So I think he might fall into Rod's don't trust names.
Oh, is it a shady name?
Yeah, it is.
Kind of
It
shady
is.
name.
It is. I know who you. I'll let
definitely
you tell
don't know who it
I
is
know
then.
who it is. Go ahead.
Carl Carlton.
Carl Carlton is this guy's
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
Yes.
Is he a one-hit wonder?
I mean, I don't know any other Carl
I mean,
Carlton.
yeah, I was gonna say he didn't make the most popular list.
That is a shady name if I ever heard one. Carl Carlton. Don't trust that guy.
I mean, this is playing from the best of Carl Carlton.
Oh, the best
But-
of Carl Carlton. That's great. Carl, his parents really? Come on. Mom and dad
Let me
really?
see what he
Are
got.
y'all
Let me see
that
what he got.
lazy? Carl, I hope it's not God-given. I hope that's
I got something else for you that's gonna be even better
hope that's
for
his
you, Rod.
nickname he came up with, his persona. What was that?
He's white.
Carl Carlton is
Yes,
white?
he is.
No, he ain't.
Yes, he is. I just looked at him. Carl Carlton, German musician.
No, I think you're looking at the
No.
wrong
I know.
guy.
I'm just messing with you.
Come on now.
Where you at?
I'm just messing with
you.
y'all. I was just messing with y'all. I know what he looked like.
That's
Brother with a
great.
curl. He was a brother
That
with
would
a
have
curl.
been fantastic if that
I
was,
was
a
like,
white
did
dude.
he just put a black man on the cover of his album?
Hey, that's what. Hey, while you playing, John Brown, his cane protein. He put a white dude on the back of it as the scientist because he said they were not going to buy it if it was me on the cover.
Hold up, John Brown who?
John Brown, Amara St. Brown.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Universe?
Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
He said, I put
Whoa,
yeah,
you serious?
yeah, it's on the back of it
Wow.
of the bag. He said, you know what? There's a white dude on the back of that. That ain't nobody in our family. I just put it on there because I didn't want nobody to
Found
question
a
it.
random white dude?
Yes.
Wow.
In a lab. And he was in a lab coat.
The lab was random white
Yeah,
dude.
just a
And
random
probably,
white dude.
Probably not even a scientist. Just man,
Nope.
white dude, put these
coat
glasses
on for
on,
me.
put this coat on,
Yeah.
and you're going to look like a scientist.
He said that
That is brilliant.
on the radio. It was hilarious.
Wow, that is actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
What's the name of the product again?
Cane protein. When it's spelled C-A-N-E. That's how he spelled it.
Hey, you know what? As long as the man's selling the product, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Real
Hilarious.
quick, that is hilarious. Coach Pat Fitzgerald is out, gentlemen.
Gone.
He's gone.
Yep.
Due to the hazing situation or the hazing scandal that happened there at Northwestern. Remember, the president said he was going to revisit the issue after
Yes, he did.
President Shield, I believe is his name. Michael Shield, he was going to revisit the issue after suspending him for just 2 weeks. Well, upon revisiting that issue and looking at the new evidence, he decided Pat Fitzgerald is out.
Yep.
He's done.
Yeah, he was the coach 17 years ago.
Yeah, and it was some of the allegations in the report. They brought up a lot of very not disturbing things.
Mm-hmm.
They said some of the abuse was of a sexual nature as well.
Yeah, that's never good.
And they said also
Abuse, period, is never good.
abuse.
but
Yeah, it was some of
Yeah.
it was of a sexual nature, and also there was some talk of basically discriminatory actions as well, like they were discriminating against some of the players. Yeah, it was ugly. It's a lot of stuff. So I'm not really surprised. I said when we looked at it today, I said, I think he's going to be suspended even longer after revisiting it. Turns out, no, not a suspension. He's gone.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know why these guys still think in 2023 that it's not going to come out.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I
what
keep
happened-
saying. Like,
I never
you
get
can't
when,
do
when
it.
they're like 2 weeks and we'll just keep it under, we'll just sweep it under the rug, and then you're like, you know, this is all going to come out, and you're going to look really bad when it does.
Yeah.
Right.
So just treat it like it's already out there, and then when it happens, people will be like, "Why'd you fire him?" And then it'll come out and be like, "Oh yeah, no, we
Yeah.
got you."
No.
Yeah, this stuff is great. It's like they had things they call a car wash, during which some players would stand naked at the entrance to the showers and spin around, forcing those entering the showers to basically rub up against each other, followed by someone painfully spraying with a hose.
Bruh.
I'm not making it up.
That's a fight. That's
they
a fight.
said-
That's a fight.
Players were forced to participate in naked center quarterback exchanges. This is what the report said. They have what they call running players, which would basically
I'm
be
going to take it from shotgun.
running
getting
involves being
100%.
restrained by a group of masked upperclassmen who would then commence dry humping the player in the dark locker room.
No. No. They play too much. I mean, that's just the way it goes down. That's a fight. That's an automatic fight.
That's not hazing. What are you talking about? That's not hazing.
That's not hazing.
That's abuse.
That's assault.
That's assault.
Yes.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. We got to get to the break here. We'll come back. We'll let you know what's on tap. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Getting ready to wrap it up and put it in the oven. Before we do, we'll let you know what's on tap. Also, we'll give you our home run derby predictions for tonight. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page. All right, so let's get into it, Harge. Who you got winning the home run derby tonight?
Okay, everybody's going with Pete Alonso, and rightfully so because he is the two-time champion. But I like Mookie Betts, and for me and my money, I would go on Ashley. The catcher.
Oh, Adley Rushman?
Rushman.
Yeah.
That's who I would go with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's the 8th seed. You going for the dark horse?
I'm going for the dark horse.
Nice, Patrick.
Put that bet down plus 1,600.
Plus
That's a
1,600.
dark horse.
That's the value.
I got Vlad Guerrero Jr.
That's
I like
an easy
Vlad Guerrero Jr. And I know that everybody wants Mookie Betts to do well. Mookie Betts don't hit home runs in batting practice. I don't have the same. I think Mookie Betts will do okay. I think Vlad gets him in that first round and he goes on.
I like that.
Mookie.
I know.
Plus, I'm going to hate on the Dodgers.
I
Well,
like that.
especially because right now they just booed the Astros mascot right now in Seattle.
Did they really?
They literally just
Well,
booed
we're
him.
division rivals. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like the Astros being hated. I got no problem with that. I'm going to go with, oh, man. You know what? I'll go with Mookie. Boom. I'm going to go with Mookie.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll go with Mookie. Rangers fans are hoping Adolis Garcia steps up to the plate. And
Hey,
has a
man,
great
just put
night.
on a show. Just put on a
Just
show.
put on a
Adolis.
show. Let's have fun.
You're damn right. I
Yep.
want to be entertained. Are you entertained?
There we go,
Are you
right
not
there.
entertained?
That's right.
All right. Hopefully, we entertained you guys today. We appreciate all of your participation on the Specs text line 512-237-3776. I want to thank my man Patrick. Thank my man Harge as well. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. Talk about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourselves, but more importantly, take care of each other. Peace.